evening, everybody, and welcome. Sorry, I've just seen what the goblin looks like on the bottom bar. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Elendor Chronicles, brought to you by the Component Cast. You join us this week, as always, we're gonna do our little bit beforehand, then we'll go into the show proper because we have some stuff to talk about. As today, if you're a member of our Discord server or a patron of ours, you will know that the first thing first, the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 has been completed and is out for distribution. It will soon, definitely by the time you're seeing this on YouTube, but it will soon, for those of you watching live, be available on Spotify, as well as many other apps. I believe it's going to be on Amazon Music, just any of your favorite music collection apps. It's going to be available there, and it's going to be free of charge for you to play on any of your streams or D&D things. It's completely royalty free in that regard. We are not going to take any money from you. We're not going to copyright claim your videos if you use them, that kind of thing. If you want hard copies of the MP3s or the WAV files, they're available to Patreons. We'll also be uploading once it's fully out on Spotify and elsewhere, we'll upload a full album video on YouTube for you to, if that's your preferred area of listening. And yeah, it's even going to be available on apps like Snapchat and on Instagram for you to use in your Instagram stories, or on TikToks if you really wanted to. It's going everywhere, so I hope you enjoy it. It's been written by the wonderful Harry Evans, a school friend of mine, and then I found out today that the arranger, because it would in all of the messaging, it was described to as, "Oh, my arranger," and then Harry told me, wait, I forgot, you also went to school with this person. I was like, wait, what? So it's loads of high school friends of mine, like a guy named Ewan Caborn, and they've done an excellent job. If you like it's kind of styled a bit like mid-2000s fantasy game music is kind of the vibe it gives off, I think, in that regard. But yeah, so do give it a listen. But if you're watching live today, one thing you can do for us, which will go a long way. I've lost my mouse. Where is my mouse? I've lost my mouse because my mouse has run out of battery. That'll do it. Okay, once I get in control again, I'll put this in the Twitch chat, but there is a link you can click to pre-save us on Spotify. If anyone in the cast right now has that, can grab that link from the Discord and put that in chat faster than I can say it, that'd be great. Yeah, so the pre-save link, sorry, I'm just also plugging it. This is going to be chaotic as heck now because I'm moving around to charge my camera. Yeah, the pre-save link basically will notify you when it's out on the app, and also if we have more pre-saves, the more likelihood Spotify will push it out itself on day one. So pre-saving, real good thing. But yeah, there's 10 tracks. If you're a bibliographer and above Patreon, very soon you will also have access to all of the sheet music should you want to use it or utilize it in that regard. But yeah, you should be safe to use it in any of your D&D tables, and we hope you enjoy it as much as it. Also, if you want to support these shows, becoming a patron is the best way to do it. Patreon gives us the biggest cut, but also and allows us to create more shows like this and interesting projects such as the soundtrack. And also becoming a Twitch sub is also a really good way of helping us out. Plus, you get little emotes to use in chat. So, okay, yeah, without further ado, let's get on with tonight's broadcast. And we will see you after the intro. So, I would like to do the recap this week.
Nobody.
Nobody. Oh, that sounds like it's got to be you there, Lambert. Give us.
Okay. So.
Hit me with your best shot.
I can't remember the next. Away. Yeah, there we go. I was like, I can't remember the next words to that song, but anyway, we were in the town of somewhere. I actually forget what the name of the town was, but we were there and having a bit of a chill pill in a local inn when Darius decides that he needs some air, and he goes off alone because he is big dum dum. And as he is walking around on his own outside, he gets hit with some kind of gas that makes him fall asleep. He gets captured by his half-brother Martin, who had finally caught up after however long they've been trying to search for Darius. We get alerted of this by one of the crew members coming into the bar, because Martin had brought his entire crew, and not crew, it's a host, it's a war party, there's a word for it, I forget. Company, yes. His entire company of mercenaries. And not only had they nabbed Darius, but they'd also stormed onto our airship while we and all of the ranked members of the crew were away. Hurt some of our people, no one died. But they took control of the airship because we are a flight risk. So we all start running back to the ship. Breton taking his horse, Valmaya going in with a bit of flight, and Zedaar just using her feet. She got there first because she's fast as fuck. And we catch up to Martin and Demetrius and Anton, and I think Volden was also there, and probably some company people, as they are taking Darius away. There's a little bit of a confrontation, but no harm is done to anyone, as they're just trying to talk. Everyone's trying to talk everyone down. And as all of the party meet up and they're like across the road, across the street from Martin, we all agree to go back to the ship. Once we're there, everyone starts talking about, should Darius be taken to his father, and it is decided unilaterally by our lovely Zepp that people should not be on our ship, and he pulls the fire extinguishers, gets Zedaar to turn on the engines, and starts flying away. As we're flying away, we also have James trying to rally our crew members and push out the invading company. And in the kerfuffle, about 8 people die to Zedaar, I guess just wind blasting people into a wall. Very strong, and they're clearly very weak. It's not her fault. And things kind of go a little bit tits up for a while. Anton, another half-brother of Darius's, gets yeeted over the edge of the skyship, but survives, because this is D&D. And at the end of the day, Darius is still captured. He tells everyone to stand down. Sister Claudia, also captured, and the entire party agree to teleport over to the island of, I think it's called like Bon or Bomb or something like that, to go and meet Darius's daddy, because this is Dungeons and Daddy issues. Again.
I think that's just about a point of inspiration. Yes.
What do you mean just about?
Just about, but not quite.
So, yes, you were eating in the town of Gadog. And the island you're going to is Bulb, as in plant bulb, light bulb. It's in the shape of a it's got a somewhat like bulbish teardrop shape to the main island anyway. But yes, we left off with the party plus a small little retcon. There's also Marjorie with you. My head just went. My head wanted to go Margaret for some reason.
Margarine.
So Marjorie, the party, and the two bonus brothers, were left on the slightly rainy beach underneath a small rocky outcrop, of which the main manor of the Reynard estate, one of the Reynard estates on this island, stood. There is a flicker of fires in some of the windows of the estate building, as you are in the same time zone ish. You're about 1 hour ahead of where you would have been.
We just teleported. How are we only one time zone?
Because we were in Kazakh.
Yeah, hang on. No, you're right. Sorry, I'm structuring my map differently in my head. It's
flat Earth theory.
Sorry, yes, you're deep night right now.
North to south.
It's about. Well, no, it's east to west. It's west to east.
Which
is west to east. Where magic comes from.
Bizarro world.
It's how magic exists. The sun goes backwards. It's sorry. You were about. So it was sundown. It was late. It's about 4 a.m.
I was say it was the middle of the night when we left because they'd been partying most of the night.
No, you.
Oh no, it was.
You didn't leave the next dawn. You had the 8-hour rest. So no, it is late evening now. So there are a few fires.
Your final answer?
It's my final answer. Even I don't know anymore. And it's early. Well, it's end of winter as well. So the nights are early.
The time zone map.
So I got the map up on the other screen, and I was zoomed in, and then I zoomed out. I was like, wait, brain, catch up. Last solstice. Yes, I'm just gonna start this again. So yes, you're on the beach, and the sun has gone down. It is probably about 4 p.m. And it's winter, so there is whilst it's not like snowy, with this is a cold rain that you're in, and it's definitely still warmer than the Vestilian Theocracy, but there is a biting wind on this coastline, and you do see the waves lap at this like cliff face ahead of you, as you sit in this almost cove-like beach on a part of the island. The island looks very very
like Baltic, right? Like in terms of
I would say it's so the trees and the tree coverage is very it's a mix of deciduous and evergreen, but heading towards mostly evergreen. But it's there is a vibrancy to this island. It is left quite natural. There isn't like, you don't see a village here. It is just this estate that you can see for anywhere near you. If there was to be a village, it's definitely not around here. Yeah.
Okay. I can see you looking at the map on your other screen from your other camera.
Oh yeah, because you guys see the other camera. Yeah. Whereas everyone else just sees Goblin Eye.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're not showing anything to the stream. Okay. We're not under Darius isn't under chains or anything, right? He's just he's just right. So
no, the chains are the fact that your sister is already here somewhere.
Chains are purely metaphorical.
There's some physicality to them.
Yeah, there's like that
They're
person
emotional.
exists.
They're emotional chains.
They're emotional chains. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. That's where
Yes.
their presence lies.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess Darius just looks to the party and says, if nobody else does in the group, which I'm assuming, given Darius's brother's demeanor, they don't. And he says, welcome to Bulb. This is my home, or at least this is part of my home.
Drop the
Well, a
goblin.
bit of shit.
Is it just this whole island?
Technically, I don't know how much the Lord owes my father, but it's a lot. So I think we just kind of can go anywhere.
Must be nice.
Timing.
Sure. Sure.
I'm not saying it sarcastically. Just
No, Darius just like doesn't know how to feel about turning that on a positive.
like
Just
you
go-
can you could just go anywhere. You have the freedom to go anywhere, do anything. You're not beholden to other people at this point in a certain way. Like you're within your own community, I guess. So like I guess what I'm trying to say is if you agreed with your family and were on the up and up, then
In my head, James is totally doing this right now. I'm just seeing Darius's face.
James,
Just-
you're not helping. James,
just trying
please.
just trying to dig out of that hole.
uh,
It's appreciated. There's some layers missing there. Did we have an itinerary, Martin?
They've gone.
Anton? Who's getting the? Okay.
They're already like 20 meters down the beach,
Looks
walking towards that. There's a little slipway road that leads up to the house, kind of thing.
Yeah, the beach entrance to the home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Is it always rain, or is there ever like sun going on?
it's winter, so it's pretty moist just all the time here. Like we don't get a lot of dry days during the winter. Summers are nice though. It's good.
I've got a question. Did they teleport us to a like teleportation circle,
Nope.
or just they just
Make
use teleport?
make a perception check.
That skills. $15.
Shortly after you all like landed in the teleportation, you saw Anton throw a random stone like onto the beach, and whilst it has nestled in the sand, you notice that it looks like another stone like could have been taken from this beach.
Gotcha.
Father doesn't trust like people, so we don't have a dedicated, because that's a security risk.
Something you got from him.
Darius glares at I'm here a bit for. Let's go. Just starts guiding
Read
them.
on, Darius.
Yes, it's pretty stand. There's nowhere else really to go. There's a nice little fishing village on the other side of the island. And that's about it. The rest is hunting grounds, mostly.
What kind of prey?
Depends on what they're in the mood for. There's natural fauna here that are hunted, but we're known to bring in things to hunt, to have a nice time.
Yeah, there didn't used to be a deer population on this island, but when the Reynards moved in, they had many shipped over. So much that
It's
they're
totally
now.
invasive. Destroy the ecosystem.
Yep. But they wanted to hunt something.
Yep. So there's things around. It's kind of not my thing though. Yep. So when we go in, just be like, think of it like we're meeting like a noble and you're not far off from what you're supposed to be like. I don't know what's going to happen here, or if we're gonna get a chance to talk. So, or even see it.
Well, Darius, what can we do to best support you in this moment? How can we back you up here?
Ruby makes a really loud gesture of closing her mouth.
That's a good one. Yes, that's good. So I know we're really used to being kind of like the shit in the places we go to, and kind of throwing that around because we've killed dragons. That's not gonna fly here. You might have noticed.
How many dragons would one need to kill to be considered the shit here?
Have you saved a nation from being destroyed?
I'm sure my dad would have eventually destroyed a nation, so I mean, sure, yeah, I'm gonna claim that.
Okay. I mean, honestly, probably true. But in terms of like contract, like evidence, not as much. So they have let's just say they don't like. There's a hierarchy here. Okay.
I mean,
and I'm not anywhere near the top. And the fact that you're associated with me puts you lower than that in terms of how people see. Yes, James. We're still walking.
We did kill the demon daddy, and it is recognized by one of the the seven, right? Which is deific.
Yeah, that's not a thing here as much.
Okay.
Father doesn't think religion is.
Does he at least accept that they exist?
I mean, to the extent that there have been clerics here and the like, yes. So
Might be the one person so far that Ruby kind of agreed with on that regard.
Yeah, Darius hates the fact that he knows that's probably true.
Oh, redeeming feature. I didn't think he had one.
So yeah, that also doesn't matter as much. There's some people it might around here, but their opinions won't to him. So, like I said, there's a hierarchy.
What about the Crown Prince's seal that you've all secured before I joined? Would that earn you any clout?
It could go in with a few other like noble seals or noble thanks or letters that have been taken by others. This would be my first, so that would still put me in the running, but not at the top.
Well, I was just saying, we do have a leg to stand on as far as accomplishments wise. So give yourself some credit. Go in with a little more confidence than what you have.
We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen right now. I haven't been told anything. I've been told as much as you have. So, what's the front gate look like? Are we being identified, or what's going on?
So as you get to the sort of sandbank vertical incline towards the house, you see that as it kind of guides around the sort of one of the outer walls. It's not like a castle fortress in a sense. It's more palatial.
It's Versailles as opposed to a usable castle.
Yeah, I mean there is some defenses to it, but it's more ornate in nature. It's not got huge parapets and a catapult tower or anything. It's more, this is luxury leisure palace more so, and you follow it, but in you could defend it still. You follow around and you head to where you would know the main gate to the compound to be, and the gate isn't closed. It's not like the doors are closed. There isn't it, but there are guards You still see Martin and Anton like ahead of you, sort of. Again, probably about 30 meters ahead, talking, kind of lightly chatting.
In my head, it's like a very it's like somebody wanted this to look somewhat rustic, but they also had a lot more money than sense, and they're just putting a lot into it so that it looks, it's like a very clashing of just lots of money but very rustic feel on top of that.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what we're going?
Yeah,
with here?
it's the
Antiquing.
Like
you pay for the antiquing of it.
Imagine like there was probably at one stage on this outcrop a keep or a tower or a lighthouse, and then the walls, the other outer buildings have all been built to look like it, and it's used like some local materials, but there is just like, you know, on the front gate there, like the gate that's open, it's like a big defendable wooden door with bright golden handle in the shape of in the shape of a stag's horn, you know, and like as you walk in, it's now like it's outer houses, outer buildings. There's a roaring kitchen building clearly, and then ahead of you like a great hall and like main complex buildings, but there's also gardens and slightly gaudy statues, and there's a clear area that's like a training area, but it's surrounded by like a water feature and a polo green. Like it's really like, okay, this is giving the air of Marshall if someone copied Marshall almost pantomime levels. Not quite that, but it's like, imagine Frederick the Great, and it's like, I have all these troops and they all have to be giants. Like they all have to be really tall men. It's like that level of, yes, I'm going to, it's almost play pretend at this point. It's and it's like there is too much.
Napoleon.
No, Frederick the Great it was the one that went with giant soldiers, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Had a decree that I had to be a certain height.
Yeah, there was it was one, but like the Royal Guard battalion. It was like one of the Grenadiers, I think. Anyway, yeah, so it's very much that. It's like there's a level of like
it's absurd opulence.
Yeah.
Like it's somebody who thinks this is what people with money would have and is trying to put it on. Is like, it's somebody that doesn't come from this kind of wealth.
Rich.
Yeah, it's new money.
Yeah. Oligarchic new money kind of vibe. It is like they've seen what a palace looks like in, say, like Nardathel, and gone, I want some of that here, because you get the impression that this is like, on a business standpoint, if there is a large contract to negotiate, this is where you invite dukes and kings. So there's an element of Gourd to it, like gaudiness, not Gourd the character. Sorry.
Yeah. So just a lot of new money they want to show off, like a lot of unnecessary filigree on things or carved gold leaf inlay and stuff like that.
And you're kind of going down like a almost like cobblestoney pathway, not driveway, but carriageway up towards the main complex of buildings. Those of you, can you just give me a perception check? Just some of you.
Sure.
$20.
Okay.
Yeah, that tracks with what's going on.
2.
I'm the only one paying attention.
So, Valmir. The mumbled conversation between Martin and Anton. Anton looks angry.
He did fall several hundred feet from an airship. I'd be pretty pissed too.
Is one thing that you pick up on. Another thing that you pick up on is that they're over by a set of stable buildings. There seems to be someone who looks similar features to Darius, but much younger. clearly a Renard of some regard, is like sort of saddling up a horse, and it is not a war horse. It is like a stallion pony kind of thing. It is and again, and they clearly seem to be in more athletic wear rather than armor or anything. They seem to be in like a winter cloaky kind of looks like they're just gonna go for a ride kind of thing. But they seem to have an acceptance of this like new money attitude that you're seeing around you. It's like this is what general life is like for most Reynards. You get the impression, which is not what you kind of expected when you met Darius, and there's this, you know, this working soldier, very just kind of somewhat Spartan. But here is a youthful Reynard lapping in a bit of luxury.
Doeskin gloves, like, you know, the whole.
It's yeah.
Not just rich, but wealth.
Yeah.
So does it look like he's going like on like a hunt or something?
Possibly. There is a crossbow like on the rear of the horse, but whether that's just for general protection.
But cheating. Using a bow would be, you know, skilled. Crossbow is cheating.
Says the person who used Eldritch Blast to hunt something.
At one point, yeah.
That wasn't cheating though. That
No,
requires
it got you in some big trouble if I remember
You were
correctly.
intimidated by a forest spirit.
I paid for my crimes.
Yep.
Darius gives everyone like I guess the nickel tour, just like pointing out like, and that's the kitchen for all of the soldiers when they're here. That's the training barracks. That's the house guard barracks, etc. Just kind of like pointing it out as he goes. He's very much not into this at all.
You don't say.
Yeah. It's a statue of my father. That's a statue of my father. That's a statue of my brother.
So where's your statue, Darius?
Really? Down here? Really?
I'm trying to light the mood.
Okay.
I think you rolled a 1 for that one.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah, there's a lot of statues like interlaced in between these paths and these gardens, and there's often they're combined with a plaque of an achievement, almost like triumph statues. Like, it's just like this is to celebrate the victory over this, and this at the Battle of where you know, it's think of them like a little Medal of Honor descriptions to each of the under the statues, but most of them are in the likeness or either Tomund, Martin,
Nicola.
Trophies.
Nicola, and probably
yeah.
like,
That's
probably a
kind
couple of the younger ones.
Yeah,
but
there's a few of the
they're
other
very-
ones you haven't. There's even one of an Alexei, but you don't see a Darius, at least visibly, in this area.
Yeah. Probably also
So-
probably some older Renards too. Probably something like Lavernius and Heinrich.
A lot of those have been
Well,
stripped out.
All right, Darius goes like, there used to be my uncle here. That changed. Right.
So
Yeah.
if we need to make a hasty retreat, collateral damage in this area sounds pretty good.
I'm already not in a good position, Valmir. I don't want to put petty destruction of property on this. I already kidnapped my own sister and then ran, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's
Absconded.
yeah. Yes, James.
Oh, I was just clearing my throat.
Okay, that's normally how you start a sentence.
Bit of coagulated blood stuck there or something.
But it takes you about 10 minutes to get to the main set of buildings, and no one greets you. It's not like when you've come up to other palaces where like there's been like a house servant or someone of the house that would come and get you, or come to meet you. The door on the front of the building has just been left open by Martin and Anton, who walked in ahead of you.
Are there like 2 guards or something nearby?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's been
keeping an eye?
guards like stationed even in like just around areas of the gardens, etc., that has no one in them, kind of thing. And actually, Darius, you do notice that the guards stationed is higher in number than normal.
Note of that. Just wartime, I suppose. That makes sense. Yes, let us go. Kind of through this door. Darius just goes through the door.
Yeah.
This is the door, and kind of like there's nobody to take his cloak or anything, is there? It's just nobody's. There's no house staff at all.
Not for you. Not right now.
Takes his own cloak off and just holding that indignantly.
So you're in like a main hallway, to which leads to either the main hall or one of the other wings of the house. Where would you like to head?
So if we're gonna stay here for a while, just that you know, that's where all the rooms are. Left side's all the guest rooms, right side's all of the family rooms. So I don't know if you're gonna be provided anything here.
I was sort of expecting at least somebody to welcome us to tell us what the way of this is going to be.
I also did, but that doesn't seem to have been the case. So I think this might be worse than I thought. So, or maybe they just don't know about some of our connections, some of your all connections.
They didn't fire down us with crossbows the second that we walked inside the keep, so it can't be that bad.
It's true. Is there anything
they
you'd
would have.
like to do before we go deeper? Is it like so? Like Darius is obviously avoiding going down the main hall that's behind a door.
If you want to take the time to show us around, Darius, because it might be useful, then by all means.
Sure. Yes, that'd be great. Just thinks for a second. No, there's not a lot. This is a lot of empty rooms that nobody uses. Let's go. Goes
Okay.
towards the big carved, like very fancy main doors to the wall, to like the main hall with all the like displays that I'm assuming are still up.
Oh yeah, they are. In fact, as you enter the gaudily opulent main doors of the Great Hall, Darius, would you like to describe what they see?
Yeah, so what you see before you, going from least senior closest to the door we entered to the most senior closest to the like main like hall, like dining hall kind of area way in the back, is on either side are like displays in a sense of the various Renards in the family, in the form of like they have like their, if they have one, a crest or a coat of arms, and then around it is no uniformed setup of anything, but it's all, from what you get a sense, like there's like tattered banners or a like gold statue or like a nice scroll with like a, if you look closely, like, oh, that looks like maybe a royal stamp in wax or something like that. There's like, you get the sense as you look, all of these are trophies from their various campaignings and contracts throughout their time. And so obviously the closer you get to the door, the less there are, as they're the least senior or the younger of them all. You even see, yeah, you would know. You'd see like Claudia's like off to like the right with like nothing underneath it, just the crest in the wall.
What do they see around Darius's?
probably like one thing, I would think, because Darius wouldn't have been around too much afterwards. So it mostly depends on whether or not you'll okay this, whether or not they took it down, because Darius wouldn't have taken it afterwards.
That's not been taken down. No.
Then yeah, underneath, like, so you see Darius's crest, pretty standard. You've all seen it at this point a couple of times. And then underneath it, there's probably just like what you see is a bare like brick of like a dark kind of like nothing stone, like a stone from probably somewhere that like out west or something like that, with like pretty like standard like that you get from a quarry just to like build anything. Just like pretty bare normal brick with like a date etched on it, and that's about it. It's on like a little platter underneath the coat of arms, and that's the only thing underneath it. And then Alexi's got an inordinate amount for how far back he is in the order, just of banners and other like swords and shit that are just kind of stacked up underneath it.
Once you get past Darius, it really starts to ramp up in the amount that's around these, but almost like you get to the end and they've almost like the little hallway alcoves have become almost their own little rooms, where the cabinets and like bannerage, and like they've had to like essentially extend the wall back to create an alcove with enough room to hang some of this stuff in. But it all seems to be of the children. There doesn't seem to be any of Darius's father there.
No. I would say probably like right before we get to the door of the main dining hall, there's a big gilded shield with Tommen's symbol, which to all of you, I don't know if Darius has explained it, but to all of you would just look like the Renard symbol, because you've seen that like in all of like the normal troops might like have it like as a secondary shield or something like that on their cloaks or surcoats. But it's just this very pretty like overly opulent shield that's just hanging from there. Marjorie would have also been fairly familiar with all of this, as she spent a few years here, most likely.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And if anybody asks like, what's that mean? Or what's that mean? Then like Darius will explain it, but not very enthusiastically. It's just like, yeah, no, that's Alexi. He lopped off the head of a bandit king and then took a sword. That's what that one is. Like stuff like that. So,
I don't know if anybody asks at this point. I think the tension is a little too high, and I don't know if we're big enough fans of your family for us to care about what the accolades of your family is.
Well, Alexi,
Siraj might have been curious.
Alexi, you've met.
Alexi was the nice brother, yes.
Alexi is the one that cares.
Yes.
Lexi's the one that almost broke a contract to help us a little bit.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It's good to see that Alexi has some respect in the family, you know.
If you had to like give like an idea between it, like he's got as much or near amount in terms of like just things that show like his campaigns, if you had to like individual items, to some of like the very older like members of the kids, like almost the same as like Anton.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's fairly well liked, or at least he's got a large amount of contracts under his belt. Not necessarily because he wanted them, but mostly because he had to, for other reasons.
There's a lot of had to in the Renard family.
No, I imagine if anything, Breton is just kind of looking at this wall with. It's not disdain. Like, he understands why this exists, and, you know, former Chevaliers, they have their own stories and legends and things that represent their victories as well, but he's just kind of looking at it like, what was it all for? Then he's kind of staring at Darius's wall like, So is this the only opportunity they gave you, or what?
It's I mean, I'd rather not. It's we only are allowed to put things here for victories that are our own. 100 are that are it's just ours, and so that's.
Well, we didn't save any dragons or giants.
So what, did you sack a keep of your own, or?
Something like that, I guess. Yeah, something like that. It's not important. It's all just
If you say so.
pomp for pomp's sake. It's to big up dukes and others who have to walk down here for my father. Likes to make them sweat a bit. And yeah.
Anyway, you head to the main doors and you go through them. And the reason as to why none of Tommen's relics were in this hallway is abundantly clear as soon as the door opens, as the main dining room is just, again, wall-to-wall trophies. With a large mahogany table in the center of the room, lit around pillars and braziers, and a central fireplace that kind of intersects the table with a large, like, hanging cooking pot in the center. It's weird. It's kind of like this room was, it's a traditional Rhiannian sort of dining hall, but it's been like just inflated with, like, the wooden beams to what would have been the normal hall have been replaced by, like, marble. Everything is gilded or inlaid. There is just like suits of armor, banners everywhere, skulls, hunting trophies, war trophies. And right at the end of the table, at the seat of power, is a older man with thinning, greasy long hair in elaborate furs, hunched over what seems to be an evening meal. They do not look up when you enter, and they just they look like, you get the impression of this individual is like past their prime, but still has an era of vulgar gravitas.
They're not infirm.
No.
They're just they can't do what they used to, but
Old and rich.
They're still sharp. Yeah, they're still sharp behind the eyes.
Yeah.
Darius walks past the group, just kind of stands like in front, where people just like in front, kind of the area where all the tables face, kind of inward, just waits.
The individual finishes off the, looks to be like a leg of duck, and just drops the bone.
At least he didn't do a Denethor with a cherry tomato.
Is he eating like a normal person, or is he eating a cherry and
Yeah. Didn't have to go that hard.
Do you sing? What did I
start
sing?
naming your character Faramir, because that's how disappointing you are.
I am disappointed in you, Faramir. You are not my son! Sorry.
Anton would have done it.
Oh, damn. That's so... that's deeper than you know.
It's a lot deeper. That's a deeper cut than you know. Yeah.
I think I know more than I'm letting on.
but he like sort of he puts his fingers into like a cleaning bowl that's there, and it's like,
Are any of his wives or Darius's mother or anything nearby? Or anything?
Darius's mother isn't in there. Actually, the room looks like it's been cleared purposefully.
Okay.
It's legitimately, there isn't even serving staff in here. That's why he's got like the cleaning bowl to his side rather than having someone hold it like they normally would and be there, you know, the entire meal just holding this bowl.
Jerry, the cleaning bowl guy.
Jerry, the cleaning bowl guy, yeah. And he just picks up a crystal glass of what looks to be port, gives a sip, and then just stares at you all.
Father, it's I'd like to introduce you all to Tormund of the Renard Company, leader of the house. My father, winner of these accolades. Father, this is the group of, this is the adventuring company that I have been contracted with for the past year. The Skyfire, our leader unfortunately couldn't, the founder couldn't be here with the airship crossing the sea. That's so important.
I find it ironic that you come to the hall today not being able to speak a word when all you had were words that last time you were here. Darius, you think me a fool if you need to... He stands up. Introduce these people. I am well aware of your escapades. Please, welcome to my house. It seems we have a lot to negotiate. I can have food if you're all hungry, but take a seat. I think we have a lot to discuss. Darius, give me a quick perception check.
Sure. Normal or at disadvantage?
I'll let you make that. It depends. How focused are you on your father?
Fairly.
Yeah, then make it normally.
Okay.
So for my sake on this dining room, is this whether he's sitting at a main table and there's like hall tables down below, or is this just one
like,
table in the
it's
middle of the room?
like one large U-shaped table with a big fire pot, like there's like a big like sort of.
So it's Water Frey's table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's just a medieval court head table, and he's in the center of the back. Like it's a wedding table, like a wedding table, sort of like back in his back center. And there's probably at least 40 seats on this head table, and it looks like there would be room to add more tables if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's enough room for like a feast worth of individuals. So, Darius got an 8 on his perception.
Oh, you don't notice then. Okay, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, Darius like points towards this. Let's go over here. It's like goes to his normal spot.
Yep. Okay.
And
Your nameplate has been removed.
Is it noticeably removed too? It wasn't even like just like totally like this didn't used to have a nameplate on it. It's just like the actual plate is gone, but the holder is still there.
It's exactly. These are like etched into the table, and then a brass plaque is inserted. It's quite clearly that there is like the rivet holes and the indentation of where this was like pressed in is there.
Maximum.
Yeah. And Claudia's and Alexis that will be the side of yours, still there.
What is Tormund's title?
Doesn't have one. Not really. He's commander of the Renard Company, but he's not a noble.
Okay, well in that case, as you go to take your place, Marjorie will give like a knight's excuse me, voice going. we'll give a knight's salute and just go, Commander, and then stand by Darius's shoulder.
You can sit. You're not a squire anymore.
True, but there are still... It is the perception that there are those who follow you.
All right.
Breton is going to
points
gesture towards one of the... Assuming there are also tables that don't have placards for guests to sit at.
Yes. Yeah. And it seems to be
Most
like...
of the seats probably wouldn't even on the main table. Right?
Yeah,
It would
it's,
just be...
it's literally the main 7 have nameplates or had
Breton will
nameplates.
just gesture towards one and say, Ruby, why don't you grab a seat?
He will just away from everybody else and just sit.
It's like, so like there's seats on both sides. It's basically on the far side, it would be family seats. On the inside would be guest seats, like closer to the fire kind of thing.
Sure.
Yep.
And Breton just makes a point of standing with his arms in front of him, like clasped behind Ruby.
I think everyone would, like calling down to the table. I think everybody would appreciate a light meal would be preferable.
You see Tommen just sort of clap twice, and a number of servants come in and says, "Please have these guests brought food and prepare rooms. I assume they'll be staying with us for a while. Are you all... Is anyone opposed to meat? No? Very well. Normal meal will be fine.
Have water. It would... Never mind.
So, if your commander is not with you, who will be speaking for you?
Well, Zap's not... It's
You
not
you introduced him to me as your leader.
He's the founder, but it's more of a communal decision-making process. It's this isn't a Skyfire issue.
Well, it might be.
Of course.
You have all, by your association with my son, caused a lot of headaches for the family. It is abundantly clear to me that we all need to have a chat. As I believe we've all gotten off on the wrong foot. I hope Darius's services proved useful in your adventuring.
Breton just kind of gives a very faint elbow to like the side of Ruby's head.
She's being quiet.
And he kind of looks at her again. You kind of kneel down and say, "Can't speak for Darius in this regard. I haven't seen anything that he's done, but you have."
Darius needs to speak up for himself.
He's not asking Darius, he's asking us.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
I was just inquiring as to the usefulness that my son has provided you all in your...
Exceptional amount. We would not have escaped Reptar without him. His resources, his connections, and his ingenuity in dealing with many of the factions were instrumental.
Careful, Ruby.
Good.
He is measuring his value.
Oh, so the dragons that he's helped us kill, and the giants and the other stuff. Mention that too.
No.
Ah, right. Okay. See, this is why I don't want to talk, because I'm just gonna shut up. Not my place to talk here.
It is also under Darius's tutelage that I have won my spurs and won my position as a knight.
I heard about that, Marjorie, or should I say, Lady Marjorie. Good. I hope you know that at one stage, Darius was my prodigal child. How the apple couldn't have fallen further from the tree sometimes.
You're not wrong there.
Sometimes it gets too brutal.
An insult of a ruby nature.
Darius sinks down lower in the seat a little bit.
If I wasn't already married 3 times over, you'd be being on my next courtship list, my lady. I like your attitude.
I'm afraid you're going to have to find many other qualities about me that you will dislike. Apologize for my abruptness.
Sympathetically, like the first time you see him look unabashed, super sympathetically at Ruby, just like, I am so sorry that was even a sentence that was said to you.
Let me tell you what I did in the last house I was in.
Anyway, so there are 3 main issues. There is the contract of Claudia to be discussed. There is the continued contract of Darius to be discussed. And there is the reparations for damages to be done in regards to my son, Raymond.
Is Raymond here, Father?
He will be in the next few days. So will Gabrielle.
Good. Good.
In fact, everyone will be coming home. In for quite the party.
That's amazing to hear. Yes.
Oh,
catch up with everyone.
Don't think it's just all because of you either, Darius. As much as your presence is notable, and your guests being of fair note, there's a lot to be discussed within the family right now.
I'd heard.
At this point, many of the other servants begin to bring in meals for you all, or drinks. One of them begins to restoke the fires, and to each of you, as well with your meal, a room key is given.
I'll show you all later. A bit of a maze up there.
I expect you would want to see Claudia.
I didn't want to presume I was allowed that privilege.
Oh, you need to know what... Oh, it's totally fine. Your sister means the world to me. You know this. Claudia!
Oh.
And a couple of moments later of repeated calls, you see Claudia enter. Her hair has been trimmed back again into like the military cut that you saw initially. She had started to grow her hair out quite a bit once when she started journeying with you. She's in not like a luxurious dress, but she's in like finer wear. She looks to be okay, generally. However, there is a... It's clear as well she does not feel comfortable right now. But she doesn't seem to be harmed. She just kind of... Yes, father?
Rez meets her eyes. Like, when
She meets
comes in.
yours instantaneously, and then the rest of you, she's like, oh, well, okay. Yes, father, what is it? Nothing, just wanted you to join us for dinner, my girl. Come on in. You've been training her well, Darius. I dare say closer than your sister, better than your other sister could have. She did a number on Anton.
Breton tries to hide a smirk when he says that.
Ruby does.
He openly giggles, so you'd be...
Yeah, there's no love lost if one of his kids gets kind of comeuppance.
Yeah, oh yeah. You get the impression, just all of you, just initially, you get the impression that Tom and Raymond thrives off of the rivalry of his kids. A little bit.
She's been very receptive. It's what I was doing previously, so it's not a surprise.
Shame about her pulling away as such. She'll make a fine company captain. Eventually. But maybe I was wrong to give her to Gabrielle. Maybe she'd do better under Nikilla. He's doing rather well of late, your eldest brother.
Oh.
You could always give her back to Darius.
Maybe at the end of the discussions, but that's what we need to hash out.
Very well.
However, I need to be assured that me assigning two of the most innermost family members in this trying time of conflict is of best use. After all, there is a war on, and well,
So
the
you're
war
results-oriented.
A grim smile takes across his face. That's a nice way to put it, yes. The war's not going well, and I need all hands on deck. The world does, after all.
As I'm certain you are aware of our exploits, we have been on the front lines to our own end.
Really? I haven't seen you on the front lines.
Oh, when did you visit them, father? Darius says, and then immediately, like,
Forgive him. A man of your keen intelligence.
There's a grit
Trying to cover
teeth.
for him.
Yeah.
A man of your keen intelligence obviously understands that there is more to this war than meets the eye.
He sits back in his chair. Oh, tell me.
been doing quite a bit.
What have you now?
Darius, would you like to tell him?
Well, we were. It's. Well,
Find your voice.
It's. Well, we had some success in Retberry as of late. By working for some individuals of the Nardathel to procure an object of importance, of military nature, which we don't have on us. It's on the ship, but it's a Zap would know how to describe it better. It's not my area of expertise.
Spellfire cannon lens.
Yes, that.
The device that the Electron Empire is using to great effect to devastate the
I am
ships
aware
and-
of them.
Yes.
We're able to procure one.
Yes, Anton told me something about that.
Of course he did.
You know, all things magic tends to be in his domain, as far as I let him. Well, some espionage to the Elandrian industrial military complex is one thing, but Darius, your skills as a commander of men is far more in line with what the world needs right now.
I was led to believe that you prided the best of your best to be the leading of your men. And yet, as we walked through the hall of your trophy and banners, Darius had received very little in such of accolades. So why are you so hard-pressed to get him back unless you do find quite a bit of value in him?
I've never not found Darius valuable. The accolades, you see, are earned on single command. My children can only and my children's children can only put out trophies for those who have won it themselves. Darius proves reluctant to be alone. But he has proved himself time and time again as a part of the infrastructure. I have never said my son was not good. I know his worth. It is he who does not accept it.
Maybe he does, but he doesn't want to apply it the way that you want him to. He wants to apply his worth in another way.
Well, he's been doing that without much help. But the family would need him to lead a company.
I believe I made myself clear.
Yes.
Last time we.
Which is why I find it rich that you come back to ruin company affairs again and cause us these headaches. There is a definite shift in the somewhat niceties that have been put out by someone into. There is a level of spite that you haven't heard thus far that comes out in that regard there.
I didn't.
You didn't
intend.
what? You didn't intend. You didn't hope. You didn't want to hurt the family. You didn't cause these issues. No, you did what you thought was best for you and your sister. Your poor baby sister. Well, I hate to break it to you, Daenerys. She's a woman. She can make these mistakes herself. You are a man, are you not? You can make these mistakes. I just wish you'd fucking own up to it.
It's but I yeah.
Go on. Tell me your reasoning. This time try not to storm out.
I didn't feel her position was safe or befitting her current level of training. She was, like Darius gives like a kind of like a sad, like, sorry. Claudia's not always been the most adept at what we do. Deserve to have a little bit of room to find her.
And you didn't
way.
think your sister, my personal champion on most times, was capable of teaching her the ways of fighting? Of course, I know Claudia's very good at linguistics and writing and documentation. I had her doing it for the most times, and that was fine with you. But as soon as she's in the field, that's where you draw the line. Is it cowardice? Fear for her life? Do you think I do not fear for her life as I fear for yours, as I fear for any one of my children's lives? What is it, Darius? Do you know better than I?
I wouldn't presume.
No, you wouldn't presume. Besides, she's been quite well with you. Has been getting into quite the kerfuffles. Quite the combatant now. So, I do have to hand it to you there. It's all of you there. You have done well looking after my daughter, yet the means in which you scorned your sister Darius has not gone down well. And the needs of the family again shift, as the sands of time shift, as the waging wars and diplomacy of this world unravels, so do the pockets and the coin purses, and we must be ready to sap up every coin that hits the floor. You know, that's where we stand. Victory, of course, is a primary. I do not doubt that we would suffer under Elendor rule. I have disposed of a lot of coin to make sure that we're not going into this lightly. We are not greedy in that regard, of course, but if there's money to be made, it's just good business, isn't it?
Of course.
Oh, your talents are wasted in military espionage. All of your talents, in fact. So I want to make you a deal. A couple of deals, in fact. I'm not blind to you wanting to do your own thing. In fact, I will make sure that the contract that's been put out by Gabrielle is ripped up. The one looking for your sister's return. I'll give you multiple options. Either you can help the war effort with coin, buy out these contracts at the rates that I fix them to, or you can do me some service. Put these skills to the test. Your martial prowess as a group is, whilst not the same as my many companies, is of worthy note. I dare say you even surpass some of my children in skill. Some. At least my grandchildren. I do value what you've been doing. It seems, well, as much as I understand a scholar must go to the library, so too must a warrior. I am curious as to know why you've been doing so much prowling through dusty old tomes. But we can talk about that in the future. So, you have the option of coin. I will let you buy out Claudia's contract for double what Gabrielle offered. I will let you buy out Darius for the same price, so they both may continue serving with you. Or you can work for me for a while. Help out with the war efforts. Secure some contracts of mine of the same value. And until this war is over, you will have them on retainer.
Unfortunately, we are obligated to not be able to interfere ourselves into the war effort directly. As I understand it's something to do with our contract with Legrand's land.
You wouldn't be working for Legrand's land, you'd be working for me.
I think we, as I said, we're not it's more of a collective of decision making. I think we need to.
You can think on it.
Over it.
You still have your ring, Darius.
Yes.
It'll be needed in the coming days. I shall want to talk with you alone.
Of course.
Choices must be made. Now, if you will excuse me, please enjoy your meals, but I believe you have a lot to discuss, and I must see the daily reports. He stands up, and there's a little bit of not fragility, but soreness to him when he stands up.
Knees are popping.
Fucking mood.
Yeah, just kind of knees, like there's clear like restriction of some movement because of scar tissue, that kind of thing about this man. And when he does stand up, it's like he's been very hunched and like bent over kind of half the time a little bit there. But there is that, like, now that he's stood up, you're like, oh, this was a much taller man than he looks. Like the furs kind of hid his frame a lot, and he's kind of stretched himself out, and he's taller than Darius, taller than a lot of his kids actually, but by a bit. And yeah, and he does look like, a push comes to shove, this man could still throw a couple of punches, some heavily bejeweled ring punches.
Ruby is looking towards Breton like she wants to say something, but just bites her tongue anyway.
It's been lovely having dinner with you, Father. It's just like old times.
I'm surprised you still call me that. Good night, all. I shall speak to you in the morrow. I'll be in my study. And he turns and leaves. And like there is a stone silence as he leaves as well. There is just like, you just hear his shoes on the cobblestone floor until the door.
There's the cordial conversation.
Just recommend we not speak until we're in our rooms.
How old is your father?
In his 70s. I believe now.
I thought he was younger than me.
Apologize for him.
He just seems like he's so hell-bent on controlling your family, and not letting you all do anything. It's like he has this soul-minded goal of making you all mercenaries, and that is all that you can ever be. That's not fair. You shouldn't be forced into this way of life, just because you were born in this family.
he doesn't agree with you. Because that's... Yeah, it's
Paying
not-
for you as a contract that's close to slavery.
Not exactly sure what my outstanding amount on my contract is at this point, but if it's a double, it's not going to be.
Darius, I owe you an apology.
Darius's like look of just like abject like like depression just goes into confusion. Looks over to Ruby.
In the past, I've judged you harshly. I've seen you as timid, even cowardly. But I've come to understand that those judgments were misguided. We are in part products of our environments, and yours, well, has been far from nurturing. I've now realized that your perceived timidity is more of a reaction to the constant disparagement from your father than any inherent flaw with you. I regret having not seen it sooner. I've been mistaken for that. I am sorry.
We go and speak maybe somewhere with less ears.
Thank you. It's like is that a compliment or is that? Yes, let's.
It's about as big as an apology from Ruby as you're gonna get.
True. We could go to our rooms. There's also a sitting room upstairs for guests we could go to. No staff would be there.
Sure.
Right. Lose your keys. They'll charge you for a replacement.
Don't drink out of the mini fridge.
Yeah, yeah, don't. Yeah, Darius is kind of gets up from the table, lets the servant take the meal. Is Claudia still there with us, or did she just come in and leave?
No,
she
she ate with you all.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute. Excuse me.
Do you have someone that's training you, or do you have someplace to go, or are you under room arrest? What's going on?
No, I'm back in my room. It's I'm due to take some of the nephews out riding tomorrow.
Saber.
I can't leave the island, and I've obtained some new jewelry. And she holds up a band, and it's essentially
It's a low jack.
Yeah, it's like it's a tracking bracelet. It's one of Anton's.
Did you how's the best word? Did you strike our brother?
Maybe a few times.
You're not talking to father. You can tell me. I'm not going to be angry.
What? No. Why does he look bad?
Looks over to Breton. Yes, he does.
Good. That was the intention.
Great.
Just out of curiosity, how bad did he look when you first saw him?
Damn it, Midge.
Morbid curiosity.
The bruising hadn't come out yet, so it was. She's trying to like stifle like a laugh. The bruising hadn't come out yet, so it's hard to tell.
Oh, have we moved to a sitting room at this point? Just established that we did move to the next area?
Yeah, this is walking and talking.
Just at least moving on.
Yeah. Ever tell you the time whenever Anton got clocked right in the jaw by Martin because he took his seat with an accident? He was a lot younger. Glass jaw, that one. Yep.
Has your father ever read to you?
It's like
Contracts, I imagine.
No.
Concept.
Yeah. You never had. It was. You're. My father had a very different relationship with me, obviously, just as crazy.
Yeah, I got a sense of that when we attacked him in his home.
Your
He attacked us.
when you were younger, your day-to-day care, was it your mother or was it instructors?
Well, before we start, like looking over at Claudia, obviously we were taken care of. Our mother was active, which isn't always the case with some of the other wives of my father. Wet nurses, various others. I don't know when I was 6.
Did anybody ever give you a hug? I know you don't like them now, but did anybody actually ever give you one? Hold you?
Seems oddly personal.
It's going to be a little personal, Darius. I'm trying to understand something.
My mother, yes. Claudia. Alexi, when I felt like it. Does that sound right? I don't.
This just seems a very cold place to raise a child, not just physically, but literally.
Technically, my first year was actually at a war camp. I wasn't born here.
Most of us don't live here.
Yeah.
Actually, it's. Yeah.
I was one of the few that had a fairly permanent residence. I took over drill mastering for my uncle when he passed on.
Have you noticed lots of Uncle's things are gone?
That wasn't just me.
I think
statues gone.
I think Father's been selling things.
Is that what's been going on? Because that makes it a lot less evil.
I think he's been selling things.
That explains why he wants us so badly for paying nothing.
The trophies are going as well. Like some of the Uncle's trophies are going, and some of those are, worth quite a bit. Collectors and whatnot.
Taking Uncle Livornius's trophies. Did he? Uncle Heinrich?
Doesn't seem like they've gone as well.
Any of his? Never mind. That's a stupid question.
I think he's more likely to sell your brick before then.
Yes.
So the war's not going well for the Rien, so is it going poorly for the Reynards as well? I mean, have they been losing most of their battles, or...?
I actually find it more curious, because as I understand it, your family has been employed by the Empire, or the Rien, to its fullest capacity. He should not be wanting for money.
It's a very expensive business, running an army.
Sure, he's full funding. He's got everything he needs as far as what is provided. The war is the best business for a mercenary company. Not even in charge of one, and I know that fact.
Well, it seems that a lot of the payments haven't been reaching us of late.
Really?
So it's Rien having issues with funding? And Father hasn't canceled their contract yet. Which...
Correct. Which probably means it's very bad right now.
So he's got a stake in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
He was buddying up with that, I don't know, what was his name? Some Duke or something, Count something, a few years back. Is he still trying to get the land title for this place? Do you know? You know better than I would at this point. You've been here.
An extra day. I guess. I mean, the house is still here. I don't know if he's got... as far as I know...
He's not taking a lien against it.
As far as I know, the Count of Bulb has taken to living in his manor in the capital more.
Have you talked with any of the? I saw another nephew, great nephew. I saw another one of us earlier.
There's a few around of the younger of...
You're taking them out tomorrow.
Yes, Philippe's boys.
Oh God.
And Philippe is here.
Can't be easy.
And then some of Nikila's youngest are also here.
Makes sense.
But a lot of them are at their own chateaus, etc., around the island.
Of course. Okay.
Darius.
Yes.
I'm a little worried. They're all coming back.
Threatened you?
No, they're all coming back. And not even Mother would tell me why. I thought it was about...
Mother?
Yes.
Oh, it's good to know.
Oh gosh, I should let her know you're here.
Don't worry. I'll
Okay.
be better if I did that. All right. Well, Father never told her much anyways, so it's not exactly out of the ordinary. She does normally have an inn with the house staff, but that also could be... That is odd.
No, it's very, very hush-hush. Like, not even some of my own ears in Father's stuff were telling me. In fact, they hadn't even heard of it in parts.
Really? It's interesting. Do you think the staff are still in, whose pocket? Do we trust them? I've been gone for a while, so it's...
Some people in various family members have various pockets of various different staffs. It's still...
That's true.
Crazy.
Okay, yeah. Good looks to everybody else. Don't say confidential things in front of anyone that works here.
I'll just say outlandish things that aren't true, that are close enough to be true. Is that good?
Confusion works.
I guess so. Yeah, Nicola usually pays off most of them out of his own wealth. So
what you're saying is you've all never been called back and gathered before?
No, we have. But it's usually it's his birthday, or we've completed a contract and the person who completed it is putting up the money to host everyone. It's a big thing. It's like
performing.
Happens.
Yes, it's like when performing theatre troupes have a rap party for once they finish their tour of shows. Father has that when he's finished a tour of conquests.
I think it's possible.
Never mind.
I read a lot.
Yes, Ruby.
I was going to ask, do you think it's possible that his reason for getting you here, well, the reasons that were listed were secondary to the actual reason? To an actual reason, I guess?
I've learned not to trust my father most of the time.
Decision.
You have no idea how true that statement is.
No, I believe me. Two of us have killed our fathers. We get it.
Okay. Don't say that here.
Sure. And to be fair, mine killed me, so
just let's omit that.
Gotcha. Right. Anyway,
Yeah.
if anybody here gets it, a couple of us do get it.
All right.
So-
That's true.
The chain of supply for Anrayne is not going well. The Ladrin are winning the war. Where exactly is the front line right now?
Claudia?
I mean, is it so close that it's actually potentially threatening your father's island?
No, last
not
I heard,
yet. Not yet.
no.
But Cullis is under siege, and that's worrying.
It's further
'cause
than it's been.
It's further than it's been in the last 2 wars.
Darius, do you
Yes,
think you can
James?
get your father to sit in a zone of truth so you can get the honest answer out of him as to why he is so forceful on having you here? It seems like there's a major problem here, and
I
you are a great asset to him, and he wants you.
doubt you'll be able to cast a spell near him. I don't know if you felt it, but some of these, quite a few areas here are warded. I did say he was paranoid. So there's no teleport circle on the island.
Yes.
Scrying is very
There's a
difficult.
reason we ended up
here.
all the way on the beach.
Yeah, so I understand that as well.
If you could find a way,
I'm
maybe.
saying you him in an audience of one more to cast a spell.
I'm saying I don't know if that's possible. You saw the.
Yes.
I
Yes, I'm not saying do this in secret. I'm saying go to
oh,
him.
definitely no. No, like I'm sure Claudia's also shaking her head. No, he'd never go for that ever.
Then how is
He
he, ever
believes-
going to get anybody to actually help him? Except for by force, which is all he's been doing. He's been forcing us here to help him. If we just get him to tell us why he wants the help, we can.
Admittedly, for most of his life, that's worked. So I'm not sure he understands another course of action in front of him.
Well, let us show him the way. We could at least try. That way we're not all digging ourselves into a hole here of contracts.
I don't think we're getting out of this without dealing with some form of either the annulment of 2 or the signing of 1 big one.
Yes, I don't want them
Which-
to grow further.
I did want to bring that up again. I wasn't there when this whole kerfuffle with Claudia went down, and I don't know how much her original contract was worth, so exactly how much money are we speaking about here? Because if it's double her original contract for the... and then double that again for you as well, how much is that?
I don't know my amount because that's on the family books. It's essentially what is listed plus what I am.
Your
As
father
I
said
said-
is the same as double Claudius.
Yeah, to clear Claudia's contract, it would be double what Gabrielle originally offered you to buy her for, and then he would do the same for you.
I assumed he meant double my current contract amount instead of whatever Claudia's amount was, because Claudia's worth a lot less than I am in the family.
His precise words were double Claudia's contract and you would be worth the same.
Yes.
Okay, well that's
So double Claudia's contract.
oddly
and double that.
hurtful. Sorry. Claudia.
No, fine. I'm surprised he's still calling you his son.
I did notice
Logical,
that
that's all.
that's a lie. He's trying to big me up. He's trying to cause. He likes us to
Not
fight.
only your worth, but our worth.
I don't trust it. He likes us to fight. I never. All of his compliments are. There was a reason for them.
Yes, everything about what you've told us about him says that this is a man who thrives on chaos, and yet he was buttering us up.
Somebody says they like me within the first 2 minutes of meeting me.
It's his normal. I've heard it. He's negotiating, or he's putting on the airs of negotiation before actually bringing it to a business meeting. He does it he does it with major clients all the time, or like a representative of the crown, or a noble of some sort will come here, have dinner, and just like, oh, I've heard, your castle looks very good, or whatever.
All right.
It's gibbering nothing.
So now we know how badly he wants it. We need to know why. Like, I understand the battle's going bad for the Rien. I sympathize, and I'm not opposed to the idea of pushing these Eladrin back, at least doing what we can, but why does he want us so bad?
We've done good work. Maybe it's gotten out. I know it's not supposed to be like super public about it, but we did kill some dragons in front of people.
You're thinking too superficially.
There's something off about
There's not a lot underneath with this family. It's very forward, I've learned.
He's pulling everyone back. You said that's unusual in situations such as this. He's looking for outside help, which from what I understand, the Renard Company does not deal in.
No.
He wants us he wants us because the war is going badly and he knows of our strength and skill, and he get us on the cheap. It's a good deal. If I were him, I would probably do the same thing.
Seems like he's also trying to strong-arm us into it.
Well, yes.
That's the point. That's the point of this whole thing. He could have. There was. Yes, probably that was the whole point. Strong-arm us into making the decision he wants us to make, which is to be forced to help him, be forced to work for him.
So what happens if we say yes? We agree to his contract, we go do jobs.
It'll be ironclad. He's been negotiating these for his entire life. It's a copy of the one that we had to deal with Alexei. Or well, it's similar to.
I'm not suggesting we break the contract. No, I'm saying if we agree to go to whatever contract he has, I can assume it would involve us going against the Eladrin Empire in a much more open manner. If not outright direct deployment to Castle Cullis with our ship.
Maybe. Could also just assign us as an auxiliary to one of the other companies, and we'd have to help someone, whoever pays the most for it, maybe.
And if we say no, the no is really on our capacity right now. I'm really curious about where all the money is. Unless the Rien is broke, unlikely. The patterns being intercepted, possible. Or
they could
the money
be broke. It's a possibility.
It is another possibility. If it is being intercepted, then perhaps we can find how and where.
That might be it. Maybe he wants us to go with a watcher and find out what's going on with the payment or something. It could be any of these. We're not going to get that.
As you as a group settle, however, to the little sitting study for the guests in the guest wing, we're going to go and take our midpoint break here because we're over time. So join us in 10 minutes time where we'll be back with more introduction to the Renards. We'll see you in just a moment.
Horrible introductions.
Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighboring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Grey Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When there's an ad more than the script it's written on. In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. From the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness, a radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can beautifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
If we take this job, someone is going to get hurt. Not me, of course. I'm an effing delight. You do what you do, I'll do what I do. I'll keep the red stuff inside of you.
Buddy, we live in Night City. Just breathing can get you killed.
This sort of job? Bullets flying, people dying, gangers riding, corpos trying to take what they don't already own. Doesn't matter. For us, just another day at the office.
When the world seems bleak, you follow your heart. Take that stage without hesitation and give it everything you've got.
There's a lot more to this city than you'd think. You just gotta dive beneath the surface. People like me, we dive into the depths.
back.
Yes, we will, and we'll welcome back everybody. So,
like this sitting room, I'm assuming mentally it's like stereotypical new money sitting room, like nice overstuffed chairs, a hearth on the side, books that don't matter at all, and a bookshelf in the corner.
Some of the books aren't even books; they're blocks of wood with like bindings around them.
Wow.
That's
I can just imagine Ruby goes over to a book and goes, "Oh, interesting title." But really?
Yeah.
It's
Are some of those newly made, as if the book was sold?
Make an investigation check.
He is holding one, so
yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check. I have an answer for that, I think, but yeah.
19.
But Midge is the GM, so she's probably
yeah,
do this.
the glue and binding looks kind of fresh on some of these.
Gotcha.
Probably also like a choice couple of things of like tobacco and cigars and stuff laid out for like.
Yep.
Darius, if your father sold for money, he could probably return these. I think they're under the 100-day mark.
Some of these were a good read. I'm surprised to get rid of them.
Not a thing. Not as much of a thing for a lot of us here. Claudia and me are a little bit of a aberration. There's a few that are read very well, and I'm not even one of the top. Claudia is much better at this.
But your father's a learned man, right? Does he not read?
Yes, he hires people to do that for him.
He likes to style himself as a very noble person, but I believe my father was born in a barn, so don't
You can almost smell it on him. Yes, I'd have to agree.
Funny, but don't.
The food was really good, though. I mean, he knows how to eat.
It all tastes the same to me.
It's bland.
It's obviously not as good as Ruby's food.
Oh, then yes, it was a lot worse than what we normally have.
You eat like a king on my ship.
Yes, yeah.
Remember, Darius doesn't have a sense of taste.
Right. As you're eating spicy food going, man, I envy you right now.
I can't smell. That's the...
Yes, and that's like 90% of taste.
Is it? Never mind.
Is that
them olfactory senses.
Were you born with that ability, Darius, or ability? With that defect, I guess?
I don't think it's considered ability. I think it's a detriment.
Defect, yeah. Were you born with that, or?
As long as I can remember.
Mutation.
It might.
Yeah, it's an ability if you're in a place where you don't want to smell something.
Yeah, really, you live in Ripper, you have no issues. She's grin. She made a joke. You can laugh. It's okay.
All right. Okay. Yes. I had always wondered. There's a lot of flower arrangements in the big garden out on the western side, but they just look nice. Yeah. So, we're going to be meeting a lot of other family members in the near future, it sounds like. So, be on good behavior, Marjorie. You can help them out with that. You've met all of them at one point or another. Yeah, we're not going to get any other information unless we kind of play it by. We could talk to some of the people who are here in terms of like the other family members, see if they know anything. They're younger, so maybe they'll assume you're some form of authority figure.
I need a book on your condition for food. Sorry, what? Ruby is still back on the no smell thing.
I'm literally looking up online how to RP doctoring smell back. I'm not even kidding.
It's It's not a thing you can really. It's usually temporary, but somebody that has had it permanent, that loses it permanently, it just normally doesn't. Like it's just it's a brain. It's a brain organ interface thing that just kind of.
I'm looking at recipes that
install organs into myself. This is a fantasy setting. We can come up with something.
I was going a little less extreme. I was looking up food that, regardless of your sense of smell, you could still taste, and there's actually some pretty good stuff in here.
Yeah, no, there is. Darius has favorites. He just doesn't like things that are spicy or aromatic. Doesn't.
Sweet and sour stir fry with crispy tofu looks to be one that would. Anyway.
Do you have like a gossipy grandma or someone like this? Like if I wanted to sit down and look at all the family photos and the embarrassing pictures and portraits of people, is there like a gossipy family member that would give us more information without us prying as hard? We just sort of set them on a track and they just spew out information.
There is a huge grin across Claudia's face.
There's a few. A lot of my father's wives and my mother, they're pretty. They like to gossip a lot. They don't have a lot to do all day nowadays, so they would. But you'd really only. I don't know how the others feel about me at this point.
I'm about to find out.
Yeah, it's sure. My mother might know something. Was that who you had in mind, Claudia? I didn't talk to a lot of people.
I think Mother would love Zarash.
Oh.
Okay.
And what?
I'm in danger.
Question, bitch. Oh wait, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I wasn't saying anything.
Okay. The vision I had when I touched Darius and I saw him on the battlefield, there were banners, correct? Are there any banners in this house that are as trophies that match any of the banners on that battlefield?
No.
Okay.
But
nope.
But
the
bricks. The bricks match. That brick matches the bricks of the destroyed wall that you were at.
Yeah, same color, same local stone, kind of distinctively dark.
I would go back to it and touch it and then do the same thing, but I would wait until later. And
okay. All right, yeah. I guess we'll go talk to Mother then, and get this over with. Well, no, it's not that. So I'm in a bad mood. Okay, where is she? Looking to Claudia.
When is the last time that you've seen her, Darius?
3 or 4 years.
We should give her a gift. Hello, Mother. So happy to see you. I brought whatever you like, flowers or, a little macrame, crochet, little stuffed animal, or I don't know what human women like, but I do know that they like gifts.
Can attest we do.
Yes, human women do like gifts.
Well, Claudia gets her smarts from Mother, so a book. Or
and Mother's at home. As in our shadow.
Okay. Alexi Chateau.
He can think that.
All right. How far away is that branches of the family chateau?
It's like 3 miles down the country road.
I guess everybody just gets settled in with whatever you need here. Make it look like you've gone into the rooms. It's insulting if you don't. Claudia, could you go get some horses ready, or if we've got a carriage?
Yeah, sure. I'll get some horses ready.
We're going somewhere?
Yeah, we're going. Every branch or major member of the family has their own chateau that they live in? This is kind of just a
lodge, like that. Everyone has their own lodges, or basically, where we are right now is a private forest, and imagine that this is like the main place, and then you go around the main road, and there's various different houses or towers that Anton's now built, or
just really plays into it, doesn't he?
Fully, he's gone the full like wizard route, and it's
pointy hat.
No, he's keeping the long hair, long beard though. I think that's to hide the ears, but it's yes, it's
shouldn't get made fun of for that. Being honest,
ears.
It's I mean.
I don't know if we've conveyed. If there's a weakness, it's pretty. It's like we've been trained to figure out where to hit things, and
everybody in this family knows how to push each other's buttons quite easily, and you know, along the same Briennian lines of thought, because Anton's mother's a half elf, we play on that.
Do you play on that?
Do you play on that?
I don't.
I spent a lot more time with Father recently than I wanted to. I had to agree with him.
Go get some courage. Go get a carriage or something. We'll go visit. It'll also be more comfortable for everyone. Since you still shouldn't talk in front of staff, but they're nicer. I know them at least. Yes, I guess meet back out at the stables, the personal stables, not the company stables, and we'll go.
Breton, do you need a horse, or is yours going to magically appear?
Good point.
Should I be expecting a guest outside? of a weirdly sentient horse?
No. If it's going to come, I'm going to have to call him. If we're going to be here for a protracted period of time, I should probably get to doing that.
Does he not?
I don't know how that works, but
does he not teleport? Is he on a separate continent right now?
Yes, he's still back on the ship.
So your horse can teleport?
I have to resummon it, but theoretically, yes.
Right.
Your horse is amazing.
Oh my god.
He is smarter than the average horse.
Oh no, next time he speaks, he's gonna have Yogi's voice. Hey, Breton.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? I'm convinced the horse is so smart, he just puts on different personalities to amuse himself.
I'm carrying this picnic basket.
Alright. If you need to resummon that, best bet would be at the training yard, I think. I don't think that's warded, because Anton does train people there, I think, still. So that might be the best bet.
Yes, anything outside of the house, I think, is unwarded these days.
Maybe I'll just take an extra horse and we'll do it when we get to you. We're on the way.
Okay. It'd still be the same thing, but okay, because he does. That's fine. I'm gonna go and check my room to make sure it's still there. Yeah. Okay. Darce leaves the sitting room sullenly, as he has been this entire time.
The rest of you.
I purposefully shed hair all over my room because Darius said that it would be rude if it didn't look like I used my room. So I'm just slapping hair on the walls and.
Okay, fair enough.
If it is, probably I would think, and feel free to like counter me, Midge, but I'm assuming like they're just good enough to be like good quarters, but they're not. It's like very Spartan.
Yeah, you're not in suites, but you're in a nice bedroom. There's like a writing desk, a double bed, probably nicer pillows. You have, but it's not like you've been given like a presidential suite in a like thing. This is like mid, like this is like the lowest tier.
Middling lodgings.
Like this is like the lowest tier room in a nice hotel. It's like, oh, you're at this nice hotel, but you got the single bedroom. Yeah,
There's
but
a kitchenette.
no. Yeah. It's a double. You got a double bed. You do all have like your own plumbed toilet. That seems to be like a big thing, but
Hearth?
yeah,
Or like a
there's a little fireplace, little flume, a little writing desk, chest of drawers. End of the bed, there's also another like storage chest, and then it's like it's not a 4-poster bed. It's just slightly smaller than that, so probably like a queen size.
Breton wouldn't be having a good time.
Yeah.
Just sitting, lying in the...
Which is more awkward because Breton is not staying in his room. He's staying in his Ruby's room.
You're staying in... Oh, sleep. Okay.
He basically goes into the room he was appointed. He folds the bed sheets half back to show that somebody has been in the room, leaves the key on the nightstand, and then just closes the door to the room.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Someone has been in that room.
Do we have plumbing on the skyship?
Zeps. Oh.
Like out of character, like.
There would have to be something, yeah. Probably with a storage tank.
Oh, do you just shit on the land below?
Is this one of the old? Is this one of the old stories of like the giant packed balls that just gets dropped into fields out in the middle of nowhere?
That thing blew.
Yeah.
Like
it's a meteorite. No, it's not.
No,
that still happens. Well, not like that, but when all right, so I'll tell you a little secret on military.
Anyways, after session,
just goes right out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Into the air. There you go.
As we're kind of getting all this together, Breton will take the sending stone because he does have access to this at the moment, and he will just say he'll send a message. Zep, reporting in. Dinner's over. They're not going to kill us, so good news on that. Situation is becoming complicated.
I had expected complications. Glad dinner was good.
Current offer by the father is buying out both Claudia and Radar's contract at double Claudia's original price for each of them. I don't know how much that is. Or we enter into contract with the family to basically work for them during the duration of the war.
I think that was a bit more than 25 words, but
it's a stone.
The sending, as far as we understand, the sending stones, like there's no limit to the messages we send, so they just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, the one to the ship is a little bit different. It's not. It's more like a walkie-talkie. It's more like a walkie-talkie. Yes, but it only goes to the ship, so it's like it can't be. It's already stretching things that it's being held by someone other than Zep. Put it that way. But I didn't want to cut Mordred away from his character.
I'd expected it. That's why I'm playing with Marjorie at the moment. Yeah. Would Zep have known what the original contract was?
You were told. Anyone who was there for the...
Breton was not there. That's why Breton doesn't know.
The amount...
This is why I was like waiting if Zep heard, then Zep would be like, okay, it was this much.
Yeah, the Zep should know what the original offer was. I think it's something in the region of 4,000.
It's 8,000 for each of us.
8,000 for each of us. Yes, 8,000 gold pieces. So 16,000 gold pieces buys out everything that we've done to this family.
Well, that buys off our contracts, which essentially means we're no longer part of the family.
Yes. Well, you're right. Then we also have to settle the debt of the damage done to
and we haven't been told.
We don't know what
he's lost a lot of standing.
Which is going to be whatever he needs it to be to get us to take offer 2.
Probably. While everybody's kind of like doing their own thing, Darius just goes to his door, doesn't go in, and just kind of
covered in dust. Covered in dust. It's still locked.
All right, he doesn't go in. Just leaves it.
You just
acknowledges the brief privacy and just moves on.
But again, the nameplate on the door has been removed.
Stares at that for longer than he should.
Yeah.
Is there a garden?
Yes. Several.
Yeah, I figured there would. Yeah, Ruby's gonna tour the garden.
Cool.
That evening.
Okay. It's nice.
I can imagine with how much money he throws in there. There's probably like meticulously pruned hedges, vibrant flower
like
beds, elaborate water features,
hedges, and like there'll be seating areas next to hedges. But those behind that seating area is a statue of Tormund or one of the family members in some sort of heroic pose.
Sword aloft.
Yeah,
I have this image in my head of like all this. The garden itself is really exotic, but the plants are all like bare bones and simple ones because it's not about like exotic taste. It's just about functioning. It's just about like, yeah, we can mass grow potatoes and tomatoes and things like that. It's just like
there is a big. So if you go closer to the kitchen, there is a big sort of allotment patch where there's growing a lot of food. There's a swan pond, like an eel pond with swans, and like wildfowl for like food purposes, but the rest of the garden is a lot of hedges, nicely trimmed, like sort of local flowering. It's not like this is an imported teak tree from this area. It's all a lot of just
pineapple
like
tree.
It's more just like the grass has been cut really nicely, and then there's sculptures and placards and carvings of conquests and.
It's like the gardens in King's Landing in the first couple of seasons of the show. It's just kind of like, oh, we need to talk about portraying someone, so let's walk down a hedgerow or something.
Out of curiosity, Breton will take a time when when Ruby is exploring the gardens to see if in the gardens can he conjure up the magic to summon his steed.
In the gardens, yes.
Okay, then he will take the time to do that while they're in the gardens.
Anyone else want to do anything?
I think James wanted to do something. While everybody was busy.
There's a couple things. I was gonna go out and see if I can get some parchment and some ink and a pen to write a letter. I was then also going to make a point to pass by that stone. That was familiar. And give it a
God, you want
touch.
to re-find a stone on the beach?
No. The stone and the brick. The brick.
Oh.
The brick.
He wants to look at Darius's brick.
The phrasing. Okay, sure. Okay, you can ask your servant for parchment and quill. That's no problem. In fact, there's probably some in your writing desk in your room.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there would.
That's probably provided.
Dust on it all.
That and like almost like a small copy of like the Book of Ascension as well. It's covered in dust.
The Bible and then like
yeah.
I honestly, that surprises me more than if it's not just like a book of like Tommen's family exploits. Like this is like the greatest hits of Tommen's successes.
No. Each wall has a different painting in of like different battles that the Reynard Company have fought in. But okay, you want to go touch the stone. Okay.
That I do.
I'm guessing Grim Psychometry coming in. Give me a Grim Psychometry roll.
Do you want me to use? Yeah. Okay. It is just history.
Yep.
So it's history investigation. All right. It's an 18.
Okay.
Do you want me to try and describe something, or? Because I wrote the whole thing.
You know what? I will let Darius, with an 18, reveal as much you would about that, about one moment within that past situation as James, your eyes fill and cloud over with blood as you fall into your mysterious blood magic, and the visions of your Grim Psychometry take over.
Do your thing, does it so you see it through whatever item you're looking through, or using this in?
So basically,
so if it was a pen, you'd see like from the desk's point of view upwards on somebody that's doing it, kind of thing.
And I could see it in that directive. It's
okay.
More about how like the DM, I guess, wants to say it, but however that item
I can work with that as a framing device.
It's
DM long enough.
It's like basically almost like a quick 10-second scry of a past situation.
Okay, so then James, you would see the interior of what looks to be like some sort of town or holdfast or castle, something like that. The interior's got very like turned up mud on the ground kind of thing. It looks like the inside or the opposite side of like the inner part of a gatehouse or something like that. And
So
you
like
see
the
about
inner
a
courtyard area,
like the inner courtyard. Yeah, you see like a lot of like really tightly knit buildings and stuff, and maybe a wall beyond that. But you're seeing it from like the perspective of like a head height kind of brick looking back outward, and you see just probably a group of about 70-ish men and women who are all dressed in the same kind of uniform. You're fairly familiar with it, just all Renard company uniform. And you would probably see them getting into like a shield wall or some sort of defensive position around a door that enters into the gatehouse. And Darius like grabbing 3 people randomly and like shoving them into the door and yelling at a familiar face to hold here no matter what, very more forcefully than you're used to him doing. And the face you see would be Valden, who's got like blood-soaked kind of like lower like half and everything. He's not injured. He's just looks like he's been in the shit. And he's commanding them. That's probably, I'd say that's probably good.
Okay.
Think on that. About 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, and then I'm gonna head back to my room and I'm gonna write the letter, and I'm gonna ruminate on this for a moment.
In fact, James.
Yeah.
As you're walking through the halls, you catch the eye of a servant who quickly like turned away from you. It looks like they were watching you and what you were doing.
They quickly are they still there, or are they trying to hurry away?
They're trying to hurry away.
Excuse me, miss. I don't believe my room has any parchment or quill in it with inkwell. The ink might have dried up a little bit too. I haven't really looked in the well yet, but.
All right, I'm sorry. I'll see to that you get some. You're here with Darius.
Yes, Skyfire Adventuring Company.
Right.
James.
James. No, nice to meet you, Sir James. I will make sure as to get you some parchment.
Is everything okay? Seemed like you were a little bit startled.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Very well. Thank you for your assistance.
She just nods and begins to walk off, and you see her like go into like her neck region, and like pull her collar up.
I got it. Okay.
I thought so. And I'll head back.
Darius just, after checks his room, just immediately goes back outside and just waits at like the personal stables, and just kind of sits down on a bench or something like that and tries not to engage with anybody.
Sure.
Does he see any other family members out and about? The people like the kid who was cool. Get an idea of what the feel is right now towards him. 16.
No direct family out and about, but you do see a familiar figure on the little patch of like the training lawn, like someone setting up like what seems to be like setting up a training rig. They're like setting up a dummy rig. It's an older gentleman. He's got kind of a neat tied back ponytail with like a black ribbon of the ponytail. You'd know this to be your father's swordmaster, the guy who initially started your training. He's kind of started all the family member training and does a lot of the personal household guard training. He's like sort of the lead master trainer of your family.
He's the inductor, he's not the drill master. He's like the personal, like, we're gonna train the family member. We need somebody that's good.
Yeah,
for
he's like essentially the duel master. Essentially, it's like his job is to be like, you know, understanding of exotic weapons and stuff.
So he's the dance master. Okay.
He's the dancing master.
Yeah, kind of that.
The dance instructor, yeah.
Yeah. He's, I mean, he is a very good dancer. It's a guy by the name of Alwyn, Alwyn.
I think Darius goes up without like trying to make like a deal of it, and like, you know, still doing this. So you're training the. I saw another one of my nephew's boys here. Are you instructing them?
As always, Sylvian, Nikita the Second, and they're all on their times. Yours is a voice I wouldn't thought I would have heard for a while around here. Nice to see you back, though, Master Darius.
It's not for lack of trying. Yes. Just two things. One, that's set up wrong. And two, I'm just trying to get, because I wasn't here, my sister's final years of training. Did you ever try and give her some instruction in non-direct measures of combat? Maybe some sort of
I assessed quite early on your sister was far better with a crossbow and with a dagger than sword and board, such as yourself. However, Gabrielle doesn't believe in those kind of things.
So you let her dictate the training of my sister?
I didn't let them do anything, Master. I do as the house decrees.
Right. All right. Well, good luck. I've heard my nephew's boys are adequate, so I'm assuming you're doing well. You heard what's going on? Like, I hear a lot of people are coming back soon.
Yep, seems like everyone's going to be back here soon.
Right.
Don't know why.
You're going to be overworked.
Don't I know it? But, look. I have been involved in the training of every single Reynard that's gone through that archway and back from it. It's...
Right.
I can handle kids. I can handle the adults. Sometimes. And then he actually finally looks at you for the first time.
Oh, Darius doesn't meet his eye. He's like, I don't know, like looking down at the ground.
Your stance looks like it's going to be far better than it used to be. But don't get sloppy on just using that kilt of a thing. Remember, keep your forms varied and train with other weaponry from time to time.
I've learned tricks. Said more than you taught me. So I still kind of gives it a little jostle of a bag, and you hear like glass shards like going across there.
He kind of smiles and he goes, maybe it wasn't just
my Claudia too.
Well, actually, she came to practice and with one already. It seems like she learned that one from you.
Oh. Don't know if that's a good role model or bad.
Very perceptive of your sister.
Right. Well, just looks at this point. Sees some of the people filing out.
Yeah, I
"All
think
right,
the rest of
good-
the party will probably be filing
Good
out.
talk. Good talk. Good
And you
talk.
actually see Claudio with your old horse.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought. It's yeah. Darius goes up to the horse. That's pretty nondescript kind of brown horse with a white kind of mark down its nose.
Yeah.
And gives it a nice head pat and a nuzzle. He's had it since he was a kid, so
yeah.
it's kinda,
What's its name, Darius?
it's kind of, take in mind, I named this when I was. I named this horse when I was 8. Prancer. It's a little less grandiose than my brother Alexi's his horse and most of the others. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm glad he's here. Actually, I thought for certain. I didn't know what I thought for certain, but I'm glad. I didn't think of it. It's good. Darius smiles for the first time since he's arrived here.
And the rest of you are presented with horses. You notice Claudio's horse is like a grey. It's like a mostly grey horse with like brown patches on its like rear. But the rest are kind of the rest of you seem to have been given like sort of a standard brown workhorse.
Yeah.
Is Breton riding his horse or a
Yes.
provided one?
Breton has his horse.
He's resummoned his horse in the garden, so Solvaroil is also here.
And can Ruby also fit on Solvarol?
Sure.
Yeah.
Breton's a big guy. There's nothing to keep her from also riding the horse.
We'll spare their horses.
Okay.
Is your horse able to talk to other horses, or is it only?
It can communicate with me telepathically. I don't think horses can communicate with each other any more than horses can communicate with each other in the real world.
Okay. I wasn't sure how deep that went.
My horse does not have speak with animals. No, it just understands my language. It can communicate with me.
Yes. I guess I'll lead on. Just follow close behind. I don't think there's anything dangerous right now this time of year, so just try not to catch a cold. Is it still raining?
A little bit, not as bad. But okay, you begin to progress down the country path, and the country path it's well kept. It's really well kept. Like each side, like the sides of the road, whilst being hedgerows, it's cut back. It's like this is there are clearly like gameskeepers and like foresters that work in this private forest and keep it like posh.
Who's the groundskeeper around here?
Which one?
Your main one, the one who runs the cruise, I guess. Don't you have, you honor hierarchies here, so I imagine you have a head one.
I don't know the current one. Claudia, do you know?
It's Wilfred. He lives at a yes. He has a cottage just along the road actually here. It's quite close to the main house, but it's just off the path a little bit.
A few teams like to.
I think it's about 30 people all in all.
That's why your family has money problems. My God.
Yeah. You weren't here when we described like the courtyard.
Yeah.
Talking Versailles level of like gaudy and like riches.
Yeah. The way I describe this forest is it's a forest as much as Center Parks is a forest, which is only going to like hit like a couple of people in the group, but hopefully more of the audience will understand what I mean by that. It's like going to camp. Like in terms of forest, but like
a Central Park almost way. Like it's a forest, but it has been managed quite thoroughly, and it is very defined. Yeah,
not
it's like
quite,
a Central Park,
not kind of Central Park as in like New York Central Park. Like it's not paved roading, But it's like it's eventually like you're going down this dirt path, and then 20 minutes later there is a giant driveway up to a nice massive like lodge mansionette chateau, and it's like guarded gate, etc. And then you just keep going, and then it's like and there's like street lamps on this forest path kind of thing that have to be lit or unlit by people at some point. It's
Darius, I feel like we could save your family enough money simply with just corporate cutbacks here to buy out your guys' contracts. Like, one druid could handle the whole forest. We don't need teams of 30 people.
That's yes, but that is magic, and Father is inherently somewhat distrustful of mages of most sorts. I mean, I get it. I don't like this. I don't know if I've given off the vibe that I'm okay with this whole situation in this area, but I'm not. So I agree. But yes, and Darius will also like point out that's my brother's chateau. And then like as we go, is still giving like kind of the nickel tour just out of like, habit.
Yeah, you go for, and it's like you've passed like 2 chateaus, one with a huge tower now as well. There are other like houses along these roads, but they seem to be more like there's a small court, like it goes off lane. There'll be another little pathway, and then there's a small courtyard with like what seem to be like loads and loads of little workman cottages kind of thing. It's more like that's where servants will go and live, kind of thing.
Yes.
Darius.
Yes.
Why did you give up on this? All of this. Seems like your father's trying to build something for your family here to take on and take over, a legacy, so as to say. Why are you resistant to it? Even though the way that they're doing it is kind of horrible, but
it's my father's legacy is not ours. He's building. He's doing it. I've never seen him do a selfless thing in his life. This is... It's not real. This isn't a real forest. This isn't a real... that's not a real deer. Points off on the distance. There's a deer. Yeah, I mean, it's there. It's real, but it's not supposed to be here. It's artificial. So
majority of your father's power seems to be an illusion.
That I don't know about, but there's no substance.
What do they call it? A paper tiger?
Fabricated.
Is the phrase?
He's, well, maybe not anymore, but he's a lot of the stories are overblown, but he's definitely earned accolades in his past, or so he reminds
I'm talking
us
about this, the facade, the nicely manicured roads, the library with wooden books. It strikes me as a man who cares more about the appearance of being more powerful than he actually is powerful. Not to say he doesn't have his own degree of control.
I think Darius, and probably also, Darius, Claudia, and probably
the horse.
Probably Marjorie as well, depending on how Marjorie was feeling, would probably chuckle at that assessment of Tom and Renard.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Don't want to put words, Darius definitely does, because he's obsessed with... We're not noble. It's trying to look like some sort of nobility, but we're not a noble line. We have we're knighted, but that's from a line of knighting. My father's father was knighted, who knighted him and his brothers, and then my father knighted my brothers, and then it's kind of gone from there. So it hasn't had any direct involvement by a noble in quite a while.
Why is that? It can't be for a lack of trying. I have to assume that at some point, one of your fathers, your predecessors, have tried to secure some form of true nobility in one of the lands. Like,
I think that's what my father wanted with this. We don't own. Not really. This isn't our. It's artificial. This isn't ours. It's a paper somewhere in a record hall or archive that has a duke's name on it that actually owns the island. But he owes money and favors to my father, so we got it. All of this came from that.
That's what I'm saying. If it's something he wants, surely he could get it. I mean, he's got several wives already, you've mentioned, and his father before him surely have had them as well. With all this leverage, how has he not managed to secure a tithe, a home, a proper ruling?
To your first point, I'm not sure my grandfather had the same idea around marriage that my father does. If I had to say, I don't think Grandpa Dilton had more than just one wife throughout his life. He only had 3 sons. But that's secondary to. I know he's tried, but it hasn't. It's always been something in the. Because it's a bargaining chip.
Question, Darius. If I was to look at your family tree, would it be very little, Tommen, and then suddenly, boom, all of you with like wives attached to it?
Yes. My grandfather had 1 wife, 3 sons. Uncle Heinrich, my father Tommen, and Uncle Lavernius. Heinrich passed on, hunting accident, and Tommen inherited the company. Lavernius signed on as a drill master, and then I don't think Lavernius ever had any.
For a brief moment, Ruby's eyes will go to Valmir, even though he's not here to respond. But there is a thought that crosses her mind.
But yeah, so my father had a very he wanted to grow the company. It wasn't big. We didn't own this back then. We were out of some sort of like little.
Who invested in you? Who invested in the company? Who started it up? I don't know how many great grandfather. Your great grandfather invested a lot of money into the house, and suddenly.
Well, he started the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Your father's your father's mercenary company was very small until a point, which generally means either something crazy happened, which possible. We live in a world of magic, but more likely it's somebody invested in him.
He had some very good contracts after he took over, and made well. My father's a lot of things, but I won't begrudge the fact that he is very good at what he does.
No. I would never deny your father's business acumen.
He knows what he's doing, and he picks winners. That's what he says. He knows how to pick a winner. So he takes the right contracts. He doesn't take the ones that won't be worthwhile, and he knows when to take money. He knows when to take favors.
Far be it for me to say we've already beaten this horse to death, but is it possible he made a deal with the devil?
My father's never put much stock in the non-material planes, so I don't know. I honestly can't answer that. That's not a subject we talk about here.
I don't think he would. No.
Well, the whole thing, just not even a. Well, actually, I think there might be, but it's for guests, like a small little worship area in the main house.
Sure. Not a very religious man either. No.
No, just to his vows. Darius laughs at that. Yeah.
It's about this time that you arrive at your branch of the family's chateau.
I guess it would be the Nyla branch, because we're all kind of from Nyla, our mother. So that would probably be what it's like. Nyla's chateau probably was what it is, managed by Alexi or something. Yeah.
Yes. As the eldest son, he would be considered the man of the house. But yeah, it's where your mother lives mainly, and your brother's family when they're not on campaign.
Right. And where Darius and
Darius and
also,
Claudia would.
Well, we're Claudia mostly. Darius had a job at the main house. All right.
And what you see in front of you is far less opulence. It's more like it's large, and it's like, but it's like stone first floor, multi-room complex with a like log cabin sort of upper half, and like more traditional roofing. Like it is more of a
rustic, classic Rhiannian.
Also fits in with Rhiannon fits in with the forest more.
So, welcome to my other home. Welcome to my mother's home. That's a better way of describing it.
Who, in stark contrast to when you arrived at Darius's father's, you do see there is a woman standing like at the end of the driveway, like sort of the roadway up to the main house, who's like come out as soon as horses were noticed at the end of the roadway sort of thing. It is still guarded as well at the edge of the road, but there's the 2 gate guards, and that's it.
I think Darius does give them like an acknowledgement. He doesn't acknowledge any of the other guards, but he gives them an acknowledgement.
Yeah. And they actually have your mother's seal, they do not have a Renard seal on them.
Direct retainers.
Yeah.
Darius rides up.
Okay.
Not saying a word. Just kind of. And I guess.
Would you like to describe your mother to the party, please?
Oh, well, yeah, she's probably at this point middle-aged. She definitely has some stressed lines on her face and like the beginnings of a few wrinkles because of she's raised 3 kids and in this family, so it's not easy on people. But you could definitely, when you saw Darius's father and you looked at Darius and Claudia, you could see a little resemblance. You could see where it kind of like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But now that you look at Darius's mother, you can definitely say, oh, like the majority comes from her. Yeah. So she's got the same kind of face and nose structure, same kind of hair as well. And yeah, I think she's probably also much more reserved in her dress in general.
Yeah, it's more, so she's wearing like a long blue but thick dress, full sleeves. Her hair is in what are they called? Like the cowls. The medieval thing, banded, tied back, tied up, but under a headdress. Hands to her side, to her front, in front of her, and as you get closer, a curt wave to all of you. She's still
rides up and takes his hood down. Mm-hmm. It's raining.
Mm-hmm.
But and then kind of, I guess, doesn't know what to do from this point, because the last time he was here, they didn't really talk about the whole situation. So I guess Darius kind of like looks behind, like looks to Claudia and then hello, mother.
Really, Darius? Just a hello. How are you? No hug.
I didn't know where.
She like fully just walked straight up to you and hugs you, and it's just a case of, Darius, you're my son, and just hugs you, and you can react however you.
Oh yeah, Darius goes in for the hug, like totally, like 100%. Like, does not hesitate. I'm glad you're doing well. What was that insight for?
Are you uncomfortable with this hug? Because I know you're very uncomfortable with hugs, but I got a 13, so feel free to do with that.
Darius isn't hiding it at all. No, 100%. He's totally okay with it. Like, there's no like, because I think Darius like is the most comfortable with certain people. Like when Zedaar, like they've done, like Zedaar has like hugged Darius a few times and they did a dance and stuff like that. So you definitely like, there's still a hesitation there. Like it's going like. I'm doing this because I don't want to insult someone, but no hesitation with it. Just like when to Claudia.
This is what a family should look like.
Sorry. Mother, these are my friends, traveling companions, adventuring co-workers. Marjorie.
Hello, Mama Darius.
It's lovely to see you again, dear.
Lady Marjorie now, actually.
Very well.
Everyone, this is my mother, Nyla Renard. And he goes down and like, unlike his father, where he did not ordain to like name every individual person, Darius goes down the line and names everybody like individually.
For Ruby, does he just say this is Ruby, or does he say this is Lady Anrayne Sunderstar?
He does the full title and then goes Ruby.
Sure.
Well, would you all like something to drink? Come inside. Lawrence. And she calls out another sort of household retainer. You all notice that the guards here are not wearing any of the same colors as the Reynards. There is nothing Reynard about their clothing or armor. They're wearing a very different uniform. It's like a burgundy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like some red, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's a deep burgundy like weighing frock, and there's a little like bird as the symbol. It's like a little flying bird on them, but it's not like embroidered. They're just wearing this as like a pin. It's like a large brooch that is tying down like their cloak.
Cheap and efficient.
Please. Come in. And you'll all have to tell me of what you've been doing with my son and daughter of late.
We've already eaten, so don't need to get the kitchen. If you haven't, we can sit in for a meal.
Your niece is here. Your brother. She's been under my stewardship. Your brother did not want her at the war camp. Since things have gotten a little bit hectic towards the front. So she's staying with me.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, it's all right. I didn't. I'm glad she's doing fine. I think we've all met Alexis.
Yes, you have. You've all met Alexis before.
Younger than Claudia by a bit, right?
Yeah, she's like 11.
Just started.
12?
Yeah.
11.
Okay,
I think.
no, yeah, she's not even a squire yet.
No.
I know she's younger than Claudia by a bit.
She could be squiring right now, but your brother has it's
pull,
trying.
so he didn't allow it.
Yeah, basically, because he's trying to give her as much of a childhood as possible. Something that that you and your sister and he did not get.
Right. Everyone come in. It's not as much as the main house.
No.
That's rude to say, Darius.
No, that's actually a compliment. Darius,
you mean the books are real?
Oh, the books are definitely real. Big passion of mine, actually. There's a large library here. But yeah, as you enter the house, it's more like country lodge in style. Actually, as you come in, there is like a large like stuffed bear like in front of the door. It's like a big bear as well, but it's like one of the eyes is missing, like super scarred up. However, it's got like a paper crown on it, and like is like has like a thing. And then you also notice like she takes off her like her like wet weather cloak and like drapes it over the bear's arm, so it's just this big scary bear, but it's being used as like a coat rack essentially.
Darius does not realize, he totally forgets the company he's keeping and the facade he's put up, so he does something that he's done since he grew up, and he like shakes the bear's hand, like, hello sir, and then gives it, and then immediately gets like all right, yep, that's the thing now. Puts his cloak.
Marjorie also fist bumps it.
Never letting you undo that one, Darius.
I deserve that. Yeah.
It was a moment of humanity from you.
It's been here since. I honestly don't remember when.
Oh, I shot it while I was pregnant with you, Darius.
Oh. I don't think I've ever heard that story. All right.
You've never asked that story. You just kept calling him Professor Fuzzington.
All right. I came here. All right. Okay,
oh, I'd love. I really want to hear more of that.
This is better. This is still better than where we were, than what we were at before. But
what shade of tomato is Darius right now?
Oh, like the biggest red you could get. Like, you've seen him. Like, he's like, for as much as he goes out, he's still just like naturally very pale. So he's very like red. Just like, all right, yep, this is my mother. These are my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you notice like Claudia and her mother begin to just start speaking a language that none of you speak.
Really? We have friends here now.
I'm just catching mother up.
All right. All right. Darius is annoyed.
But that's just, yeah, and it's more country lodge. There's a lot of like, you're initially like, as you turn the corner, there is like one of those central halves in like a bigger open living room, but even then it's quite cozy and warm. Like, it's like one of the only fires in the room. It's like more leather cherry kind of sort of. It's very warm. It's just like it's the room reflects the person in the fact that it's just comfortable and kind of a friendly, inviting place.
A fire lit everywhere.
Yeah.
In terms of like,
yeah.
There is a little bit of envy right now, or perhaps sorrow in Ruby's eyes as she's thinking about something. What my mother's up to.
But yes. It's just the sitting room, or are we?
Wherever, just come on in, please. Make yourself at home. You're friends of Darius's. You are friends of mine.
Breton does look at Darius, but doesn't say anything to that.
Okay, there, back. Cool.
Friend is a bit of a strong word.
Yeah,
Siraj is melting. She didn't have a mom. She's just like, I love everything about this.
It's one of those awkward situations where like,
I
I'm not
just
sure
said
if Breton
you're
would
friends of
consider
Darius.
some of us friends.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you're friends of Darius's, you're friends of mine, and it's just ushers you in. Also, like staff comparison as well. This feels like that there's probably like 3 people working here max. And it also looks like the Darius's mother does a lot of the housework still on herself. Like, but she could, like, there's an idea of she could have more staff, but I think you look at her and she clearly prefers to keep her business. This is her domain.
Very down.
As Marjorie is about to enter, she like takes a step and goes, I remember, one rule, and she takes off her boots.
Immediately seeing that cue, take off my shoes. I'm trying to be on my best behavior because I really want Darius's mom to like me.
Siraj wears shoes? Maybe the greatest revelation that I just learned from this.
She has the boots of levitation, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's all right.
Yeah, no, Darius also does the same. Reminded, probably also because he didn't listen to the rule all that much when he was growing up, but he also kicks off boots.
Ruby will take her shoes off.
Can I get anybody any tea or coffee or?
Sounds lovely.
Tea, absolutely.
Can I have a water, please?
Of course.
And Darius just sits down in like, assuming like the big seating area. It's almost like a living room, but it's just filled in books, shelves, and stuff, and just sits down on a couch. And just kind of.
Dia, would you help me in the kitchen a moment?
Oh.
Dia. So Claudia just runs off, helps her mother.
It's been a while.
I'll have 2 if you need any, and I'll follow you.
By all means, dear. Come.
This is just buttering up. It's his mother.
We just eaten. I'm not ready to prepare a meal.
But yeah, just had breakfast. This would be meal number 3.
I said.
I mean, it's the main house's food is filling, but even if
I'm pretty sure we teleported right after breakfast, so that was actually meal number 2. Like we ate and then we immediately teleported and had dinner.
Yeah,
I'm full.
Yeah,
I
out
don't
of
think we have a
politeness.
lot.
Breton did not eat dinner. He was just on guard duty during that dinner.
I don't think Darius ate a lot either. I think he was too focused. There's just a cold plate of food at the end.
Not much of an appetite in that situation.
Yeah.
I always hungry. I don't know why.
So yeah, those of you who are left in the room, are you doing anything?
Looking for a place that he can fit to sit.
Oh, there's actually ample places you can sit. Like the ceilings aren't small in here. The chairs are pretty big, and it's almost like there are also chairs in here for guests of non-human stature. So there is furnishings enough for you. Like there is there's like a single armchair sofa that looks like if a person would sit on it, it would be like comically large around them, like one of those like giant deck chairs or something like that. But it's a plush seat enough that say like a minotaur or a man of your stature would be very comfortable. Would be like a normal chair for you.
Enjoy the seating then.
It's Derek, there's a clear like consideration for everything here. Like there's this like, if you're here, they want you to be as comfortable as possible, sort of thing. Just generally anyone who appears. But at the same time, it's definitely a home. Like those guests that would be here are familial guests. There's not like a room where it's like state politics happen. This is just like, this is a well-off family home.
Yeah, it's probably also like a painting, like atop one of the mantelpieces or something like that, of just like the group of kids with the mother, just kind of like all standing behind her, and it's like just a drawn, like a painted portrait, probably like several years previous.
Yes,
so
there are paintings of younger Darius around. Yeah, there's like so there's one that's like so it's a large group family photo of like the mother, her arms round Darius and Alexis, and then a young Claudia, And then below that, there is a solo portrait of each of the 3 main children. And then there's below Alexis, there is a family portrait of Alexis with him, his wife, and his daughter. And then there's also like various other sort of portraits of, you know, there's a clear portrait of what looks to be like a 16-year-old Darius and a 16-year-old Alexis, both of them being presented with it's like they're clearly holding like a sword, like a diploma, like it's sheathed and everything, but yeah.
Yep.
Is there like a doorway where they have like, you know, like the growth on the wall of the children, like the little pencil lines
kitchen,
with like
correct?
the ears? Yeah.
Yes, there is. There is definitely, there's those markings are definitely in the kitchen for sure. And it's a nice kitchen. There's a lot of stone furnishings. There's like an island. It's like, this is like a large kitchen space, but it's clearly a kitchen where one person works and cooks. There isn't a chef here. This is Darius's mother's kitchen. Like,
Yep. So her word goes. And you probably also see with the like measurements as well as there's like names and an age next to the name, and you see Alexi
scratches in the wall at height.
Yeah, you see Alexi like grows very quickly and gets up to like by the time he's like 15, he's at his full height and everything like that. And then you see Darius who like very regularly, and then there's a plateau, and then there's just more ages written next to the name as it goes. as he reached his height, like probably around like 14 or something like that. Like he sprouted early and then he just didn't go anymore. So it's a little backstory.
I put my back up against the lines, and you know, measure myself in comparison to the Reynards.
Did you start wearing plate armor at a younger age than Alexi? That might have affected your growth.
Still don't wear plate.
Darius's mother actually comes over to you, Ziraj, as you're doing that, before you like fully notice what you're like her doing anything. She's already got a mark and actually marks your height on the height wall, and she goes, Ziraj, was it? And then carves your name next to the height.
You're much taller than Zara. You're much taller than Darius. I think.
Yeah. Well, how tall is Ziraj?
4'8".
Oh no, then you're actually shorter.
Yeah,
Yours is tiny.
Yeah.
For some reason I got this. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. She's so you're small. You're just smaller than Claudia is right now.
I make a mental note that I will vow to protect this woman at all costs.
You're not the only one that's made that vow in this house.
No, there's about 10 retainers as well that are definitely like that as well.
Yeah.
A decent person! Audible gasp!
Not my D&D setting.
Oh no, an NPC you'll enjoy. Shame if something happened to her.
Yeah, like this is, so her fate's been sealed already.
Damn, a parent who's like
good. Oh my god, is this the first good parent in this D&D campaign?
Ruby's mom wasn't a bad
Ruby's
person.
mom was okay.
She was still in with the cult though. But she was nicer, yes. Yeah, half and half.
Yeah.
We haven't met Breton's father yet. That's still a
That's
mystery,
true.
so who knows?
That's true.
That's true. The backstory of you is you had a pretty good childhood.
Actually, no, that's also right. Zep had good parental figures as well.
Like his family was great to the group and to Zep as well.
Yeah.
As much of it was good business as much as it was just good family ship. But like they were still good people.
Yeah, Zep's just here because he's got a wanderlust, not because he's got a problem past like the rest of you.
No.
No.
I don't think Darius does much. I think he's just relaxing. He's letting all that stress kind of go away. Just kind of like
totally.
on the overstuffed chair he's sitting in.
Eventually, Ziraj, Claudia, and Darius's mother return with the tea, like a tea thing. It's like a little boiling system, and this is all grown for my garden. So I do enjoy. It's my own blend. There's also water for you, Darius.
Mother?
Anyone anything else? Some fruit juices or anything of the sort?
I think you don't have to. You don't have to wait. It's good. We're good.
Okay. Well, no problem. Did your father set you up with rooms at the big house? If not, I can have the guest house here made to your liking. If you would like your own personal space, all of you.
Quite a bit chilly up there. Yeah, that sounds nice. But we wouldn't want to impose.
Oh, it's no imposing here.
More worried about offending Daddy.
That's
Do
probably
we really care?
That's your bigger issue, but
They looked like they've been used. It'll be enough. I don't think he's
noticed unless somebody says anything, and the staff up there are just as scared of me as they are of him.
Yeah. And none of them gave us.
That's a chuckle from both of us. Oh. Yeah, Ruby Breton.
And we're good because none of the staff gave us any secondary looks or interacted with us in any way, so there's no reason for them to double check on anything. So good.
No, not at all.
Nope.
So, tell me all about it. Where have you been with my son in these couple of years now?
It's only been a year.
No, he's been gone for a couple of years.
Oh.
Darius hasn't been here for a while. You know,
Darius left about 4 years ago.
We can only claim one of them.
Well, he is a hero, and he is the leader of our group in terms of military strategy and diplomacy.
That last one's definitely not true.
Is that right, Darius?
I just fit in. I just do what I need to do, you know.
That sounds more like the Darius I know. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, Mother. I know. No, we've been.
Mother knows best.
It's been good. I met them through a mutual contact that we were all brought together on, and we did a job, and then we formed a company. Unfortunately, you're not the kind of, I guess, the member who's the founder on our documents is currently on our skyship traversing the.
You have a skyship. It's been many years since I've flown, but I'd love to see it at some point.
We'd love to give you a tour when it gets here.
That would be lovely.
It's coming here. It'll be a few weeks. We were in Kozak.
I guess Anton brought you home.
I think it was a mix. I think he wants it to be him, but I think it was mostly, Martin did the legwork.
I meant actually transitionally home.
Okay.
Or whatever. Is it transition? No, teleport. Sorry, I'm getting my words confused. I don't partake in the whole magic malarkey.
Oh. It's like sort of Ruby for a second.
Ruby's dislike manner. No.
It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's all just a little bit confusing for me.
You are, you aren't, I suppose. It's fine.
But yes, he did. He brought us here. Brought Claudia here as well, which I'm assuming you met her when she first came. Yesterday.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we were picked up outside of a small town in Kozak, and we couldn't. It's I'm trying not to worry her. It's how much do you know about what's going on when it comes to me and Father?
Darius, I have not seen you in years. I'm just trying to hear on what you've been doing. I don't. Your father doesn't tell me anything.
Right.
I haven't seen him in about 3 months.
Aside from causing trouble, he's been also trying to save the world.
Hello about the dragon.
Oh yes, tell me about the dragons.
Which one? There's been multiple, I've heard.
No.
So there's this legend about a bow. Darius, show her the bow.
All right. Takes out the bow and
this bow shot down a topaz dragon, a green dragon, and I want to say a giant and a devil. But it struck them both.
I think it struck them both. I think there's 3 hashes on there, but I think
And
that's I think
where did you get this magic bow?
It's not even magical.
What?
It's a freaking bow.
It's your son that makes it magical.
I bought it in a shop. On
That
the side
sounds
of the
like
road.
something I would say.
This bow, when our adventure is done, is going to have a legend written after it. It's going to be some mysterious artifact that some later group is going to find and be very depressed about because it is just a normal bow.
It sounds like something I would want to put on that mantelpiece right there.
We'll make sure.
Oh, ooh. Yeah, we still need it. It's kind of a good luck charm.
Yeah, no, of course. No, that's...
My friend, our friend Zep did imbue it with some extra bits.
Yes, what's this Willoughby gang thing with like the eyeglass on it?
Oh, it just kind of magnifies it, like it holds it up to as you can see. Yeah, he's smart.
Oh, do you need help seeing things, Darius? Do we need to get you
No, I'm good.
Then why do you have this spectacle on the side of it?
See further. It's a thing. So if it's more accurate. Claudia, back me up here.
Claudia's just giggling.
She just letting Darius cook right now.
Oh yeah.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm fine. Health-wise, I am fine. Like
You
there's
look
nothing...
healthy. Been eating well?
Yes, he has.
Damn it. Yes, I've been. Yes. Ruby is the resident. She cooks all the meals on the ship when she's around.
No, I'd heard a little about you, all I have to say.
Really?
Darius's
good things, I hope.
Darius's brother is far better at writing home than he is.
I haven't had. I wasn't sure if someone else was going to read the letter, and I didn't.
All you have to do is pick up a pen.
It's is Raj giving Darius that look too?
100%. I'm just sitting here, just SMH, you know.
100% taking your side.
Raj, how close are you sitting to Darius's mother?
I am as close as I can possibly be, like without being like
instinct.
The mom's in the chair. She's on the armrest.
Instinctively, Darius's mother is like giving Zedaar scritches, and just hasn't even phased her. It's just like instantly, just sort of.
She's already a part of the family, Darius.
I think you all are like just naturally in this room. You've all just instantly come in.
I think everyone's adopted at this point. I don't think this, I will endeavor to do better, depending on how things in the near future go. I swear it. I will try. And Claudia is, if things go well, going to be with me, so she can also.
Oh, she's already been writing.
Looks like a knight. I will make sure that he upholds this vow.
You've got some slack to pick up.
Looks at Claudia very pointedly. You didn't tell me that, Claudia.
So?
She shouldn't have to.
All right.
I don't have the same fear that anyone's going to be able to read my messages like you do. Nobody speaks the same language as me and Mother do.
What language was that, by the way?
Oh,
made it up.
Yes. It's something me and Dia do quite a lot. I've always been a bit of a literary scholar, and from a young age, I like puzzles and that sort of thing, and I taught Dia the same sort of thing, and Dia fell in love, has my same love for languages, and we make we have our own little languages together.
And Ruby's just grinning a little bit wider and wider and wider.
And Claudia then cuts in. It annoys the hell out of both Alexis and Darius. It's so funny.
I approve of all of these things. And Claudia, I like you a little bit more today.
You didn't like
traveling with us for months.
Ruby and Claudia have not interacted a whole lot.
True.
That's true. But yeah, yes. But I will try. I will try. Things will be better. I hope. Afterwards, things are a little tense right now. Back at the big house, with me and Father, as I'm sure you are aware.
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with some. Yeah, I'm sure you've been told about how I. Took Claudia. There's no good way of saying that.
You did right by our family. That's the main thing.
Is it though?
At least somebody gets it.
Yes.
Yes. Claudia asked you, and you went. That's what a big brother should do.
Yes, I remember.
Whilst I may live on the land of your father and his ill-gotten gains, this is my roof. Bloodshed.
She's not too happy with the chosen vocation of the family.
It was fun when I was younger. Now it's a little bit it got a lot larger and yes, it's
No, I understand. I can relate to fathers with bad business dealings.
Either way,
Breton just grumbles.
my Gareth, you did right by us. That's the main thing.
I'm glad. I don't think I ever worried that you wouldn't approve about that specifically, but I thank you for saying that. It means a lot for somebody to. But yes, things aren't great because of that, and Raymond and Gabrielle aren't happy with how things went. I've heard Raymond's not doing great standing-wise in the family, so there's some...
Oh, I got an earful from their mother, all right.
Is Olga doing all right?
Oh, she's...
Olga?
Yes.
All right. All right, good. Well, sorry that you had to deal with that.
I've dealt with worse, but she was displeased.
Yes, I'd assume so. So, yes, but I assume you also know everyone's apparently coming back for some reason. I don't think it's specifically about me and Claudia and our current situation. I hope not, because that would mean this is a lot worse than I thought. Questioning kind of tone there.
Your father has been frantic of late. He is very fickle with the rest of the family, normally, but it's been far worse. I think he's either something very big is about to happen, something bad is going to happen, or he's about finally ready to name his successor.
Oh. It would be... Well, he's getting up there in age, so that's... Well, he was getting up there in age 20 years ago, but yes, so he's... that makes sense.
What are you trying to say?
What, you don't... What?
So, is there something wrong with old age?
Did you see
You're not really old, James. Shut up. Just back of the head
Not
flick.
everyone ages as gracefully as you do.
Gib slap.
I mean, I'll be honest. He looks better than I thought a 70-year-old would look at this point, but yeah, oh well. Yes, he offered for us to be able to buy out me and Claudia's contracts as an option, with another option available.
She looks very, very confused. Like,
for
this is
Claudia's amount each, not even factoring in mine. I'm not sure where mine sits at this moment.
Cheap.
But oh,
why is he trying?
There's a tiny bit of hope. like not doesn't want it to be, but there's a tiny bit of hope in that. Oh, really? That's cheap.
Why is he trying to get rid of you so cheaply?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's.
I don't know. Is it? That's. I'm not. I have no gauge on how bad this is at this point. We had a conversation with him, which was a conversation with him, and
it was a conversation at you. You mean?
There was not to me, but there was a little back and forth with some people here.
More than most get, so that's surprising.
Oh no, he offered to court me.
Oh, be careful of that one, dear. He's
nope, not
brute.
anywhere near that one.
I would advise heavily against it anyway.
Besides, I couldn't imagine the tax problems with somebody who's legally declared dead. It's weird.
That's a story we'll get to later. We'll get to that later. There's a complicated background. Yeah, there's a lot of background here.
Sorry.
Darius.
It's even more complicated when you figure out who's killed her, because then
if
it's all right.
I digress.
Her hair might change color next time you see her. We don't know.
I wish I could do that. Mine is just gray and split ends.
No, you don't. Not like I do.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. No.
Right.
To the serious matter at hand. If your father is trying to get rid of you for that cheap, he wants rid of you for a reason. Or someone in the family wants rid of you for a reason.
That doesn't narrow it down much, Mother.
No, I know, but that sounds like a deal within a deal. Put it this way. By your contracts being bought out to your group, etc., what does that do?
Well,
we're not here.
It means I'm not. It means I would forfeit any right to be here in the future. I wouldn't be a part of.
Exactly. And it would mean you would be cut out of whatever is going on.
So you're advising against that course of action?
My son, if it's what you want to do, it's what you want to do.
I wanted to keep running, but I was unable to continue to do that. My pain of being I was absconded with in the middle of the night.
Fair enough.
For a short period of time.
Literally dragged out kicking and screaming. Yes.
But
I was asleep at the time.
It probably means there's going to be a major shift in the family, and there's elements of the family that have somehow got into your father's ear that you shouldn't be a part of it.
It names everyone. Gabrielle hates me because of what we did, and I broke a contract with her, it's a verbal agreement. But it doesn't matter. That's still a big that's a big one. Raymond lost his standing by quite a bit from what I've heard, and he was, well, yeah, it was kind of, that's what he,
yes,
it's a big deal.
Alexis
Martin,
took his place,
Anton,
so
good for Alexi. He needs the money.
Yes, but
and then, well, Nicola, Martin, and Anton have never You know them. There's never been
no, since Anton's never been happy since you lost him his company.
Right. Yeah, that's yeah.
But do we think it is a pride issue amongst the siblings, or is there something a little bit more nefarious in terms of why they don't want Darius to be a part of the company? Because we are working, no offense to the Reynard politics here, but we are working on saving something on a grander scale.
I don't doubt
Is there
you
any
are, my
chance
dear.
that they are against that course of action that we are trying to do?
Unlikely. Most of the other Reynards are more like their father. What worries me is what that man has planned, because he does not do anything in halves, or anything not thought out. So
he offered us to work for him as well, as the other option, to take a contract for a period of time for the duration of the war.
Which also would take us away from this place.
Yes, but it wouldn't remove the stake.
I don't make the effort, but I do technically still have the ability to vote on certain issues or make my statement, make my case for things. So maybe that's something.
Has your father asked you anything about voting recently?
No. Like I have avoided. I haven't spoken to father until today. Since the last time I spoke to him, he did say he wanted to talk to me.
He also asked if you're still at your ring.
Yes. Which I do, though it is a different ring. But it is. But I did get a new one made. This is still my. Yes, this is mine.
He said you would be needing it.
So something official is going to happen.
I don't know if he meant my original ring. If there was some sort of. I know he had something on Claudia's signet.
I think it's more in the political sense. He's going to ask you to make you a decision of some sort. Okay, I'm going to be doing some digging. This is a little unsettling.
I didn't mean to your night.
No. It's totally fine. I just.
If you're doing some digging, please take this. And I give her my amulet of detect thoughts, and I explain how to use it.
No, that's totally no. I have ears. I will go tend to the garden.
She's playing the Game of Thrones, guys.
Yeah, but it would look so nice on you. Okay.
How much easier? Imagine how much easier it'd be playing the Game of Thrones if you could read people's minds.
That's true.
She doesn't like magic.
She doesn't like magic.
It's a little bit to do with a certain rivalry between Darius and one of his brothers, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Doesn't like that entire house.
Yeah. My lady, one question, and forgive me, this is
I'm
none of my business.
I haven't been a lady since I left my parents' house. Please just call me.
Sorry, habit.
It's totally...
How did you and Daddy happen?
Torment.
I do come from some minor noble stock. I'm the fourth child of a small landholder just north of the capital of the Rien. I was young. He was a handsome older gentleman, and my father needed money.
So it was arranged.
It was arranged, but I wasn't against it at the time. Now he's an old, vicious, vile, greedy man, and he hasn't visited me since Claudia was born, so properly in that regard. So it's in all but paperwork, as is most of his. It doesn't make you upset. I'm sorry, Darius, but no. I everything. I get a stipend from him, but everything is mine here. The house. Well,
you doing all right?
Oh, fine. Your brother.
So we do have like some money if you ever need. Like I save, but I can.
If you're going to be buying out your own contracts,
well, you just advised against that, so.
Only because I know your father. But, you know, the options are there, Darius. I'm not going to make the choices for you. You need to make it. You're a grown man. You can make those choices yourself.
Right. Say it a little louder for the people in the back.
I want her to make every choice for all of us all of the
time. just very thoughtful decisions being made.
I have my retainers. I have my money. Your brother sends some money extra home. But mainly because I'm looking after his little wretch of a child. Where she is right now.
Where is she? I haven't seen her since.
Probably somewhere.
I absconded with Claudia. So.
Knowing that clue, Breton just listens.
Just
I rolled an 8. It's been a long time since he tried to find a.
It's quite a big
girl
house.
doing a thing she wasn't supposed to be doing.
It's quite a big house, and also there's quite a lot of soft furnishings in this house. Like it's a mostly carpeted floor as well. Like there's wood. It's like a wood thing, but there's a lot of rugs and a lot of like. There is a large bear in the thing. It's cozy. There's like it's not like echoey and cold halls. It's like a little wooden lodge mansionette. Like it is.
Right. That's good. I'm glad she's doing well, and that you're doing well, and that.
I'm doing fine. She is a handful, though.
She did seem. Well, I mean, yeah, at that age, Claudia wasn't.
She's a runner. Claudia was quite lucky that I'd always know where to find her eventually, but this one is.
This is something I've never learned.
Go to where there's a book normally.
Fortunately, it doesn't narrow it down on the ship. Either way.
This one is.
What's her thing?
She's not good at hiding. She's just
quick.
Athletic like your brother, yes. Without his mind as. It's not his
good sense, but that's not right.
Not his logistical mind. More.
She's never broken a bone, has she?
No, she's. I think she takes way too much after her mother, and her mother is it's Alexi's choice.
All right. Okay. All right. Wow. That's it's getting everything in the family issues right now.
Learn more about your family now than I have in the last year we've been together.
Well, there's a reason I don't say anything.
Are you embarrassed by me, Darius? And with that, we'll end the session there. So,
Darius slowly melts into the ground.
Yes, as Darius melts into the soft furnishings, and the rest of you enjoy a nice cup of tea and a sight of warm evening, with the rain pitter pattering outside. We're going to end this session here, so join us next week for another episode of the Elendor Chronicles. But all I've got to do now is to say thank you to the players who've been playing with me. I have been joined by DM Lake, Beth Dillingham, Commissar Roach, Lord Lambert, Kinda Odder, Mordred Viking, and Ghibli Jam. I've been Midgeman. This has been the Component Cast. We'll see you next week. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.